who's back. Look what the cat dragged in. Hosting the morning with Brian.
Mr. Morning Drive, Michael Bumpus.
And then you showed up today, just slumming it with us.
I thought you were, well. I thought you were talking about like the run production, Cal hitting a bomb,
Who
Randy.
cares about
that's
Cal?
Two bombs.
Yeah, who cares about Cal Raleigh and what he's doing
here?
right
What
now?
What are we doing?
I'm talking about you rejoining our presence after abandoning us. Leaving us on our own to fight for our lives out there.
Nah, I just, the team needed me to adjust. So instead of running the slot, I had to go outside and be a number one receiver.
Sure, I
So
understand.
I went and did that. And just like what happened with my football career, Nate Burleson got healthy. Okay. And then I'm relegated. I'm back to practice squad.
Oh, wow.
First of all, it is an honor to be on the practice
It is.
squad.
It
I am
is.
honored. And yeah, we're happy to have you back.
I'm glad to be back.
And I'm happy to have you back because we also get to talk about a Mariners win and talk about some really cool things that happened in this game. And I'm just so grateful every day we come in and aren't having the same conversations over and over. And granted, it is interesting, even when your team is losing, to talk about what's going on and how you fix it. Like, we still find those conversations to be interesting, and you're trying to get to the root of a problem. But it is fun, Bump, objectively fun, hitting bombs and talking about guys hitting a lot of bombs. Randy hit 2 yesterday, including career home run number 100.
Here's the first pitch to Randy. Swung on, a charge to center field. This is hit well. Back is Isbell. He's at the track. He's looking up, and it is gone. Randy Arozarena, number 100 in his career. He goes yard dead center. A little history for Randy, and the Mariners have tied it. It's 1-1 in the fourth.
And a sac fly wasn't enough for Cal Raleigh. He got home run number 33.
2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Swung on a drive. Center field. Isbell back. He's at the track. He's looking up. Makes a jump. It's over his glove. It is gone. Cal Raleigh has done it again. Another home run. Number 33 is in the seats.
And these two cuts, Bump, highlight our big topic to start this morning. Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? This is the 3rd most home runs ever by any player in MLB. There are a couple ties in there, not just through June. If he gets one more, he ties Mark McGwire. Like, this is crazy company. However, you have to look around the rest of the lineup, look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? I don't want to enter the second half of the season going, yeah, as long as Cal hits another 30 bombs, this team could be in the playoffs. It's just not something I want to count on. Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be.
Yeah.
I mean, it was when we acquired Randy at the second half of the season after the trade deadline. He comes out hot. I believe his first series was against the Red Sox, I want to say, and he showed some pop. So, yes, big ups to Cal doing a great job this year, especially from that side of the plate against lefties. He has, 12 bombs this year, had 13 of all of last year. OPS and over 1,100. Good for him against lefties. You keep doing your thing. But you need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston. So that's good. Unique contributions from everybody. So then I went back and I looked at the last week. So at the Twins, the Rangers, and now this one game against the Royals. The last week you have Solano with 5 RBIs, that's second on the team. You have Mitch with a few RBIs, third on the team, and then you have the young guy Cole Young having the most hits in the last 7 days. So there are some things that say, okay, you're getting contributions. Cole seems he's trying to figure this game out. Solano is the contact hitter that we thought we were going to get. Mitch had a game that exploded and kind of got him up there when it comes to these numbers. So you're going to need some of these guys to step up in the last week or so, a couple series plus this one game. You have seen that. But also, we still need Cal to hit bombs. I know we don't want to depend on him. I know we don't want to say save us every single night, which he did. He didn't have to save us. There was just some insurance there, so that's nice. Randy stepping up. Yeah, you need guys to step up, but if Cal don't hit bombs,
I know.
and if Randy don't hit for power. And if Julio doesn't change that that launch angle, then we're going to have some problems. But, yeah, you need help. You're getting some help, but you still need Cal to do his thing.
I agree. Like it or not, Cal raking is going to have to be part of the recipe this year with that rotation, especially not being perfectly healthy. Curtis, you were on pre- and post-game for the Mariners, and you got to interview one Cal Raleigh in the tunnel. How'd that go? Not in the tunnel. You were out of the tunnel.
I was on the warning track of the dugout, yeah.
How was that?
That was a lot of fun. It's funny because, like, in the years leading up to this season, Cal was always, super approachable and, like, would chat with just about anybody.
How many names did he call you?
No, he didn't call me any, but it was funny because, like, this was the first time I'd gotten to talk to him this season, and, I mean, after the first half he's had, like, why would he ever talk to me? But, like, yeah, it was just like, business as usual. Like, I love hitting home runs. This is a fun game. Like, I love winning. It was just like, oh, yeah, you're still very grounded through all of this.
How hard was it to think of a question he hasn't been asked during the
that
last week's
was
media
very,
tour?
very hard.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that in the, like, minute 30 I got with him that I did not do what every national show has done over the last week. We're like, big dumper, right?
Yeah.
That's a funny nickname. Or like, you like hitting home runs? Like, he's been asked that question so much. So many times.
It's got to kind of feel weird after a while. Like, you can laugh about it, but at a certain point, you're like, hey, so at the end of the day, we're just talking about my butt. And I'm kind of uncomfortable. I would feel a little uncomfortable.
I get uncomfortable hearing people ask him about his butt. I'm sitting there like, what, secondhand embarrassment is all that's called? I'm like, oh, man.
I mean, he's got a great power source.
Stop with it. We understand. He's strong. The glutes are on point.
Yeah.
The hammies, the quads.
Like, drop the workouts.
Yeah. I wonder what his workouts are.
Lots of squats.
Squats. Yeah.
Some guys just got it, though, man. Got to size his parents up. I want to see what mom and dad look like.
His dad was a catcher. He's definitely got some natural thickness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's, look, some kids just, how do I not call a kid chubby? Some kids just are built a little different. Husky.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He shopped in the husky pants section.
I was a husky child, I'll let you know. I was just so I feel like I'm speaking from a place that's okay for me to speak from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just say that.
Representing.
Yeah. Let's stop talking about bodies. I do have some questions from the text line, 866-979-3776. We've been talking about, hey, can Randy help carry some of the offensive load for this team? How great was it to see 3 bombs from those two in last night's game? Someone saying, morning, love you guys and love what our boys are doing, but can we talk about the elephant in the room? Bump.
What's that?
Everyone around Julio is crushing it but him. He went 1 for 5 hitting in front of the dumper.
Yeah, he did go 1 for 5. Everyone around him seems to be contributing at a higher rate for sure. When you look at just the month for Julio, I think it could change the way that you view exactly what's going on. In the month of June, right, batted 289, on base 320, slugging 386, OPS was 706. Not bad, not great. I think that, like most things are with Julio, they're amplified when you have Cole Young doing his thing. We have Mastroboni save the day for you guys. We have Solano hitting for contact. You have Randy hitting number 100 and 101. Naturally, you're praising them, but you're looking at 4-4 and saying, okay, well, what are you bringing to the table? Here's the good thing about what Julio is doing. He is hitting the ball hard, right? He's just getting on top of it, rolling it over, and getting himself in a little bit of trouble. Yes. Still needs to play a little more better than he is now. But as long as you have Cal and these other guys contributing, you keep yourself in the fight. Here's the thing, though. You must take advantage of the pitching. There's something we know about the Mariners. When the ballers are on the mound, they're going to struggle a little bit. When you have these guys who are the third or fourth option in the rotation, that's when they shine, and that's what you're going to get during this next series, or this series with the Royals. So you take care of it. But, yes, Julio needs to produce a bit more. I'm with you 100%, and these other guys are picking up the slack.
Someone said, multiple people saying, are we listening to the Brock Ewer body show? No, I can take about 2 minutes of joking about it before I do get a little uncomfortable. And I feel like it's not inappropriate, but it just starts feeling like now I don't know where to take this conversation. So we're just going to bring it back to what we're seeing actually at the plate from some of these guys. It's fun to joke about, but no Brock body show today.
Right. Also, real quick, 509 makes a great point. I think you pointed it out a couple days ago, maybe yesterday when I was listening to you guys on my drive home at 10 a.m. Julio got 7 hits last
Yeah, he
last
went
series.
7 for 16
Exactly.
against the Rangers.
Like, it's just not, you're not getting the RBIs, you're not getting the home
No,
runs.
he only had 1 double.
That's what it is, and the extra base hit. So
Yeah.
he's getting on base, but he's not producing those runs
That's
for
what's
you.
so weird about what Julio's doing is, like, I do have, like, there are critiques you can make in general about his ABs. He's getting hits. They're just not as high quality hits as you'd expect for someone with the power ability that he does. And I'm eager to talk to some of our guests that we're going to have this week, whether maybe it's Ryan Rowland-Smith later this week or whatever, to be like, hey, what do you see from Julio? Is it an angle? Is it him not squaring it up right? Is it timing? Like, the power is clearly there. He's only 24 years old. He's making contact.
To me, that's all. He's just he's getting on
just
top of the
singles.
ball. He's getting on top. He's chopping at it. You know, he's not that launch angle. He's not in the gaps like the way we're used to seeing. If he were striking out at an extremely high rate, I'd be a bit more concerned. And I think we should be concerned because you need him to hit bombs, hit for power, and driving runs or whatnot. But if he was just going up to the plate, just whiff after whiff after whiff, then I'd be a bit more concerned. But like the 509 pointed out, he did have 7 hits last series. He's getting on base.
Yeah.
Right? You wanna create some traffic, and he's contributing to that.
I think I'd like slightly more patient plate appearances for him. That being said, if what you like about him in general is, this is the conversation with any athlete, right? You've had this conversation a million times. You can't value someone's like aggressiveness as a player and then always expect that to come without flaws.
Right.
Like, that's going to come with a lot of first pitch swings. That's going to come with some swings and misses and whiffs. Like, that's going to come with a guy who maybe doesn't draw the most walks. However, within that, you're going to get once in a while, he's going to find his pitch. It's just, I would love for it when he finds that pitch and actually makes contact for it to have some power behind it.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think that if you are concerned, if you want more out of Julio, I'm with you 100%. But there are some things that I see out of him that make me believe that he's going to be okay. Is he going to be on the status of Cal Raleigh this year? Not touching it. Aaron Judge not touching it. No, lower your expectations just a little bit, and you just need him to take a few steps forward, and I think that this team will be fine as long as you keep getting guest appearances from Canzone, a play from Mastroboni, Randy hitting a bomb or two there, Solano, Donnie Barrows for real now, squaring the ball up and doing his thing. Then it's going to buy you a little bit of time, but I know and I understand if you are getting a bit impatient with Julio.
I think that I would be more concerned with Julio if he was having a career high in strikeout percentage and also not getting hits, like you didn't see power to balance it out. I agree with Jordan Schusterman, who was on with us last week and said, I would take a higher strikeout percentage with Julio if it meant more power, if it meant a few more bombs. Like, I'd take that from him. I think he's, like, the pitch recognition isn't perfect, but this feels like a fixable problem.
Right.
The problem feels like the angle, like the swing itself, launch angle, whatever it is, like how you're attacking it, rather than you can't, see or hit a breaking ball to save your life. Like, I don't know. I'm no expert, but it feels like, when I've talked to people, something that can be tweaked. And if it is, God, I mean, during the slumps of this team, it's like sometimes I feel like we talk about it like it's the end of the season and we're like, well, maybe you can get a wild card. It's July 1st. I mean, if you kind of find Julio and he can get into like this sweet spot with his swing or get into a hot streak, if Randy keeps delivering, this is a winnable division. I know the Astros are 6.5 up and they're taking on the Rockies today. God, they're just catching so many breaks. The Dodgers are their toughest opponent in like their next 4. That being said, 6.5 games is not 12.5 games.
Right. This is what I hope happens with Julio. Continue to square it up and hit the ball. Right. We'll fix your launch angles. You'll stay diligent and keep working on that. You get through to the All-Star break, and sometimes there's something that happens to athletes when you take that break. Like, you reset, you relax for a little bit, you get your mind right, and you come back refreshed and ready to go. As long as I keep seeing him making contact with the ball throughout these next couple of series, I'm okay with where he's headed, and I'm hoping that we get that hot streak that we typically get during the summertime with Julio.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Well, Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. Together, we want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open now until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of her choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at WOISeattle.org before the deadline. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Headline Rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, some strong rumors out of the sports uniform world that the Seahawks will unveil a 90s-era white throwback jersey at the end of this month. What's the real headline?
How long until these and the blue throwbacks just become the official home and road jerseys?
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Give it maybe a couple of years, yeah.
Those are the
That's
cleanest uniforms in the game right now.
Easy.
The only ones that I think can compete with them would be Baltimore, because I like the all-black look. But no, it's a solid... And it looks better now just because of the way the uniforms are made, right? The tightness of it, the shininess of it. Make this happen, but I'm glad they're finally, well, it sounds like they're going to bring out the white uniforms. Those are clean, man. I think of Dave Wyman. I think of Brock Hewart. Think of Ricky Waters when I see those uniforms. So, yeah, make it work.
I love the idea of the 90s uniforms potentially being like the coolest thing ever, but also like one of the worst decades.
Right?
The worst decade of Seahawks football.
So much Seahawks failure, but also clean.
Clean.
Just clean.
Like really good going 8-8 all those years.
Beauty is pain, okay? Sometimes you look great and you just don't deliver.
I bet you in the moment they didn't even really appreciate the uniforms the way that we do now.
Correct.
No,
Correct.
but that's kind of how I feel about younger people embracing certain trends now. Like you see like young Gen Z, like I'm talking like 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, like people on Love Island, my Sims. And they're like, and they wear stuff where I'm like, that, I would never buy that in a million years. But for them, they never experienced it. So I bet there are a lot of people who were well into adulthood in the 90s that see things from the 90s and go, I would never wear that. Because they had it. Like, they can remember horrible fashion, and they don't want it. But, like, I swear, if I see in 15, 20 years the, like, early 2000s millennium blue Seahawks uniform, and all of a sudden there's, like, a group of young people that are like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I don't think you would ever hear that.
Nor should I ever hear it.
Those were the worst. Only the all whites were decent, but
We
yeah,
need to
that was bad.
clear them from the archives. Like, don't let people find them ever again.
Headline Rewrites.
Headline number two, Adam Schefter says that NFL teams are putting together trade offers for disgruntled Steelers star TJ Watt. What's the real headline?
I can think of a team he'd be a great fit for.
Who that?
What about here in Seattle?
Here in Seattle, spend some money on Watt. Listen, I'm all about the talent, and I think the more talent you give Mike McDonald, the better this defense is going to be. But we know what the focus needs to be on that offensive line. Can you grab yourself a veteran that's out there? But yeah, Watt, he has a right to be a little upset over there, right? You haven't won a playoff game in 6 tries. It's been a while. You had 12 sacks last year, 19 in 23, 23 in 2021. He doesn't want to waste any more time. You look at the moves that the Steelers have made, though. You got Aaron Rodgers over there. You got DK Metcalf. You got Smith at the tight end spot. You bring over Ramsey. It looks good on paper, but all those guys are old, right? You got Aaron Rodgers at 41, 42, Ramsey at 30. Jonnu, I believe, is around 29, 30 years of age. Jair Alexander as well, who's 30 years of age. It looks good on paper, and I think they will be competitive. But then you look at that division. I mean, they're fighting for third place in that division. So if I am Watt and I want to win some ball games, I'm going to try to get out of there too. And he's earned the right. I know some people don't like when guys want to leave and put themselves in better situations, but especially in the NFL, if you made it this far, you played 6-7 years in this league, and you're not satisfied and you have the leverage that Watt has, you go ahead and do it. So let's see if a team can put together a package.
We talk so much about how important it is that the Seahawks defense not just hit the ground running, but like be elite somewhere. Like get a top 5 defense in the league. Like your best shot to take a big step forward this year is going to be on that side of the ball because you already are making strides there. Whereas on offense, you got a lot to figure out. You're going to have a new play caller, a new quarterback, some new faces on the offensive line. That's a lot. Is there a case to be made that trading for Hendrickson, trading for Watt, something like that is worth it if it makes you an elite defense?
Yeah, because we've seen elite defenses dominate a game. What does that do? It gives your offense extra possessions, takes pressure off a quarterback who's looking to prove himself in the second year, maybe take some pressure on an offensive line. If you can be elite at something, I'm all for that. And if you feel like a Watt or Henderson does that, you go ahead and do it. End of the day, though, you got to score points. And this offense has to show that they can do that. You got Kubiak coming in with Sam Darnold, some new pieces on the offensive line. Lots of work to do on the offensive side, but what helps an offense is a great defense.
Headline Rewrites.
Headline number 3, the top NHL free agent Mitch Marner is headed to the Vegas Golden Knights in a sign-and trade with the Toronto Maple Leafs. What's the real
It was never going to happen, Kraken fans.
Never going to happen, Kraken.
It's kind of
bars.
like when people found out, like, what do you mean Margot Robbie got married? Oh.
Dua Lipa's off the market?
What do you mean Dua Lipa's not single anymore?
Dua Lipa.
It's like when your buddy sends a like on their Instagram post with like 100 million other people that have liked it.
You know what? Shoot your shot, and maybe the Kraken did, but you just gotta you gotta accept sometimes that some stars shine too bright. Margot Robbie and Mitch Marner.
Yeah, Marner was the most sought after free agent, 102 points. Yeah, 36 more than the next free agent out there. So you know that he was going to get people's best shot. 28 years of age, he signed an 8-year deal. Looking good for Vegas at this point. But we know, like, the profile of the Kraken. Maybe the Seahawks are changing their profile when it comes to that, and the Mariners is that, you know, you're not going to take the big swings at these guys. Yeah. You are going to, I guess, put your bid in and put yourself out there, make yourself available. End of the day, you got to be able to pay up. $96 million over 8 years, $12 million a year. Good for Mitch. Wasn't going to happen here.
What's the vibe? You have so many friends who are former players or have coached or like diehard NHL fans. What's their vibe on the Kraken's offseason approach?
They think that the young talent will push them in the right direction.
Oh, okay.
They don't think playoffs, but they think like
they're optimistic.
Yeah, they think like we do. The accelerated process getting to the playoffs jacked everything up.
Yeah.
They're like, you guys were fooled. Everybody was fooled. You think this is a playoff team? No, sometimes you get lucky and the stars align and you get yourself into the playoffs. So it changed the way everybody, or the expectations of people. Not them. They're like, look, man, we felt like this was a young team. You get some young draft picks. You bring over some veterans. You got a new coach over there. You change the culture. But they're on like a 2 to 3 year program right now.
All right. We're going to stick with the Mariners for the first hour. The Athletics' Levi Weaver joining us at 11. We have a fun idea planned for noon that I think you guys are going to have some fun chiming in with. And then it's going to be all Mariners again from 1 to 2 for the dugout. Shannon, Drayer are going to join us. Angie, Alex, really good group. Before we get to any of that, though, listen. I said yesterday I hate the Astros, and I'll say it again. They can't keep getting away with this bump. They were the winningest team in baseball in June, going 19-7. Their pitching is just lights out. We're going to find out how Houston kept winning in June and also see what questions they actually do face in the second half with Chandler Rome coming your way next.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Aloha! Dreaming of sandy beaches and ocean breezes? JTV's Tropical Treasure Sweepstakes could make that dream come true. Enter for your chance to win a fabulous Hawaiian getaway for two with luxury accommodations, airfare, and spending cash. Plus, just for entering, get $30 off your next qualifying JTV purchase of at least $99 when you opt in for emails. Don't miss out. Visit jtv.com/sweeps and enter by August 3rd. JTV, where paradise awaits.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfer is available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
DayandNight.net.
You got a pipe with a leak. Water's reaching its peak.
DayandNight.net.
Your old water heater, she's starting to peter.
DayandNight.net.
The the throne's not too well, and
Ooh, does it smell?
DayandNight.net.
Have a clogged drain, water heater issue, or plumbing repair and wish you could get a second opinion? Maybe it's sticker shock or you'd like to know your options. Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Don't feel trapped. Do the smart thing and get a second opinion. Day and Night will provide you with a fair and honest quote, explain all your options, and help you with the right solution. Give us a call or visit dayandnight.net. I guarantee you, whether Day and Night is your first choice or smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
DayandNight.net.
Big Trees is Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company. With over 30 years of experience, Big Trees provides trees of all sizes for residential and commercial projects. Our 30-acre nursery features thousands of trees and hundreds of varieties that thrive in our Pacific Northwest climate. For hours, directions, and to see our wide selection of trees, visit BigTreeSupply.com.
Seattle Children's is leading the fight against pediatric cancer with groundbreaking research in immunotherapy. It reprograms a child's own T cells to hunt down and destroy cancer. It's hope, powered by science. But here's the truth. Pediatric cancer research is drastically underfunded. That's why Safeway is stepping up, and you can too. G. Scott here asking you to say yes to donating to Immunoheroes next time you're at Safeway checkout. Together, we can help fight cancer for all kid kind.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Time for our AL West check-in, starting with the Houston Astros. The Athletics Astros reporter Chandler Rome joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Chandler, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good, good. Fascinating race in the AL West. Astros have been just cleaning up, not just this year, but an especially great June, third team to 50 wins. Lots of good to talk about. This is a Seattle station, though, so we do want to get to some of those potential question marks and Achilles heels for this team. But, God, they're just unstoppable. What's been working for them, particularly in June? Because they're not, like, dominating in runs per game or anything.
No, they've scored there are only 10 teams that have scored fewer runs than the Astros this season. Their lineup is not deep. Their best hitter has been on the IL for 2 months with a fracture that the team didn't diagnose for a month. Their next best hitter just went on the IL with a fracture that it took the team 4 days to find. And somehow they just keep rolling along. And the theme of it is they're pitching incredibly well. When you look at, everyone wants to say that this is Astros inevitability, that there's this aura about them that you can just never kill them, and everyone wants to say it's like some black magic, some voodoo, just this Astros kind of aura. But when you look at it, they have two of the best starting pitchers in baseball in Hunter Brown and Framber Valdez. They have two of the best relievers in baseball in Brian Abreu and Josh Hader. When you send out Brown and Valdez twice every 5 days, you have a very good chance to win. And when you get late in the game with a one or a two-run lead, you have a very good chance to win with Brian Abreu and Josh Hader going out there. The Astros have already won 18 one-run games this year. They won 17 all of last season. They've won 19 games this year when they've scored 3 or fewer runs. They won 12 of those games all last season. So they are a run prevention machine. They have the best defense in the American League. They have the best defensive infield in the American League. So to put it plainly, they pitch it really well. And when someone does make contact off their pitchers, they're usually going to catch it. And that's a good recipe to win a bunch of close games like they have.
You mentioned exactly the recipe for their success, right? But when I look at Houston over the past, decade or whatnot, they're always going to be in the mix, no matter who's in the game, right? No matter who's banged up, no matter who's on the mound. And we throw the word culture out there a lot. Like, I have a winning culture. But what is it about the culture of the Astros that allows them to never feel like they're out of the race and allows us to look at how they start the season and still feel like, all right, you got to keep an eye on these guys regardless of what's going on?
That's a question I've been trying to answer for the 8 years I've covered this team, because culture is not something that you can just pretty easily explain. It's not quantifiable. And even though I spend a good amount of time around them, I don't spend near enough time behind closed doors on team planes when the clubhouse doors close. Like, I don't really know, like, culture-wise. I can only go off what they tell me. And, I thought Isaac Paredes said something pretty poignant this weekend when he said, when I got traded over here, I thought it was going to be strict. I thought there were a ton of superstars in here, so there's going to be a really strict clubhouse, a lot of rules. And it turned out to be the complete opposite. Mauricio Dubon has said that they don't have any rules in this clubhouse. All the rules are is be prepared, be ready to go at 7, and they accept everyone. It's a very welcoming, very open environment. I think Jose Altuve has a lot to do with that, even though he's not the most vocal guy. But it's one of these things where whoever comes in, from whatever background they are, from whatever team they come from, they're just accepted from day one. And I know that sounds so cliche, so trite, but it just is what it is, and it allows them to just never panic. Even last year when they were 12-24 and the Mariners were up 10 games on them in the division, yeah, there were some stressed out people, and believe me, it was not all sunshine and rainbows, but you never got the sense that they were panicking. You knew that they were good. You knew that they knew they were good, and they just had to kind of, lock in a little bit. And they did, and water sunk to its own level, and the Astros won the division. So it's hard to quantify culture, and it's hard to explain it when you're not in it on a daily basis. But whatever it is, the Astros have it.
One of the things that Jerry Dipoto would either say or hint at when talking about the initial steps in the rebuild for the Mariners is really appreciating what the Astros had been able to do, getting that kind of core nucleus of homegrown players and then making really smart trades. And I would imagine, Chandler, as you could, that for a GM of a team like Seattle, it's far more intriguing to try to look at what Houston has done than to look at the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Mets, because even though no one else has been able to do it, it feels different when you look at a team and go, sure, they've got $19 million sunk into Hader, but then they've got a bunch of names in that bullpen that no one else was talking about. So talk to us a bit about some of the maybe smarter or unexpected moves that this team has made, contributing to this year's success, maybe especially with pitching.
I mean, I'll do you one better. They currently have $38 million sunk into first base, where they are getting absolutely nothing. Like Christian Walker's one of the worst everyday players in baseball, and they keep running him out there every day. A, because they have a 6.5 game lead in the division, and B, because they have no other options. Like he is it, and they've got that much money sunk into him. Jose Abreu's somewhere in West Palm Beach doing nothing right now, making $20 million to not play first base for the Astros. But yeah, it just seems like they're able to overcome a lot of just the mistakes they do make in free agency or trades or anything. It seems like they're able to just very easily overcome it by guys stepping up. Jake Myers, a career, middling hitter, is hitting 300 in July. Cam Smith, who was acquired in the trade for Kyle Tucker, and I think the Kyle Tucker trade is the one that really kind of personifies what's going on here, because I think, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think everyone kind of looked at that trade this winter and thought, oh man, like maybe the Astros are retooling. Maybe they're taking a small step back and, trading your best player because you don't want to pay him a year before free agency. That kind of screams of maybe a reset. But they got Isaac Paredes in here, who has been statistically better than Alex Bregman was last season at third base for them. They got Cam Smith in here, who made the roster after 32 minor league games, and had never played right field before 3 weeks into spring training, and now he's worth the third most defensive runs saved in right field in baseball. He's hitting cleanup for them on a regular basis, which was not part of the plan. That's due to injuries and just kind of underperformance. But he's hitting cleanup and holding his own. You're just seeing contributions from a lot of different guys. You look at their opening day lineup, and Altuve led off, Christian Walker hit fourth, and Yainer Diaz hit fifth. I don't have the WAR numbers in front of me, but as of about 3 days ago, that trio of Walker, Diaz, and Altuve had combined for negative WAR this season. And they are still the third team to 50 wins and have a comfortable lead in the AL West. It's pretty remarkable to see how they've done it.
And Chandler, I don't wish bad on anybody. I'm a weekend warrior myself. I pull a hammy, I feel bad, and I don't wish injury on anyone. But when I saw that Pena went down, I perked up a little bit and said, all right, well, they lost one of their guys. So with Pena being on the 10-day IL, how does that affect this team, and who steps up in his absence?
Oh, I have bad news for you. We're in Denver, where they play the Rockies for the next 3 days. So I think I could play shortstop for the Astros.
This just keeps getting worse.
I think I could play shortstop for the Astros these 3 games, and it would be okay for them. But again, this is another thing about kind of their roster. Mauricio Dubon is probably going to step in and play shortstop on an everyday basis for them. He won the utility Gold Glove 2 years ago. So you're replacing a Gold Glove shortstop in Jeremy Pena with another Gold Glove winner, Mauricio Dubon. That's going to keep their defense pretty set. Look, their offense is it doesn't take a scientist to look at what they need at the deadline. They need another bat. Like Jordan Alvarez is going to come back at some point, Jeremy Pena too, but they're still a bat short even with those guys. It's going to be hard for them to score runs going forward. Maybe not this week in Denver. I think it'll be easy to score runs, but they go to Dodger Stadium after this. It'll be difficult. And then they get the Guardians and the Rangers right before the break. Both of those teams can pitch it really well. They're going to have to find a way to produce more runs. And Jeremy Pena was a big cog in doing that. Isaac Paredes he's going to maybe move up to the leadoff spot, has to kind of step in. They need Jose Altuve to not necessarily be 2017, 2019 Jose Altuve, but be a little bit better, maybe closer to his career norms. And then anything they can get from Christian Walker and Yainer Diaz would be welcome, because those two guys have been the biggest disappointments on the team. And you don't want to put it all on one player. And I know, if Jordan Alvarez was here, it'd be a different story and the run production would look different. But it's hard to look at their lack of run production and not point to Christian Walker and Yainer Diaz, two guys that they thought coming into spring training would hit in the middle of their order all season. Christian Walker hit 7th the other day. Yainer Diaz hit 8th. It has not been a good season for the middle of their order, and they need to get that fixed in a heartbeat, because, look, they can pitch it and they can prevent runs as well as anybody, but at some point you do have to score runs to win some games, and this team does have trouble scoring runs.
He is the Athletic Astros reporter, Chandler Rome. Thanks, Chandler.
Thanks, Chandler.
All right, thanks, guys.
God, I hate the Astros.
They're just so good.
Even hearing from Chandler where it's like, nicest guy, and he's like, yeah, it's crazy. They don't really score a lot of runs, but of course.
17 1-run wins,
I literally writing down everything from this. It's like, yeah, they've sunk a lot of money into first base. It's not really giving them anything. Abreu's still making blank ton of money from them, while sitting on a beach, and they just keep winning. They traded. They traded all these guys, and they just keep winning. However, while it can be infuriating, as a Mariners fan especially, to look at Houston, I think there are nuggets of information that are important, right? Looking at some of the weaknesses that they have, the Achilles heel about that offensive production, badly needing a bat that they're going to face heading into the second season. And then also recognizing, hey, what can you learn? Like, as a team, what can you learn from a team that's tried to build up, a World Series team in the way that you're trying to? So
you sound too logical, Stacy. What can you learn from them?
Well, no, genuinely, one of the things that I was most curious about from Chandler is, like, they don't have the top payroll in sports. They spend more than the Mariners, but, like, what do they do well? And so much of it is
pitching.
And getting the most that they possibly can out of their pitching, importantly.
We can do that. It's the other stuff that jacks us up.
We'll see. We're going to talk about why the next 2 weeks are so important for the Mariners, coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The one, the only Tim Kirkchin is with us. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm just as confused as you are about the Mariners, if they're going to get really good or not.
Is it hard to understand where their needs truly are as we approach that trade deadline?
This team is due for a great stretch of great starting pitching. If they can score a few runs, maybe they can really make a playoff berth in the American League.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health. It's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs, Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. Just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's the garage here for my friends at Premier Golf. Take advantage of early sunrise and late sunset at the 11 different Premier courses today. From Bellingham, Everett, and Marysville to Linwood, Bellevue, and Seattle, even out on the coast, they've got a course near you. Play Inner Bay or Jackson, Bill Wright or West Seattle, Bellevue, Legion Memorial, Walter Hall, Linwood, Cedar Crest, Lake Patton, and even Ocean Shores. Courses are in great shape and ready for your next round. Visit PremierGolfCenters.com, that's PremierGolfCenters.com, and book your tee time today.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Stacy Rost here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman today at woiseattle.org. That's woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
The Golfapalooza of the summer, the Butts Golf Sidewalk Sale. Titleist, FootJoy, TaylorMade, Callaway, the biggest names at 50 to 70% off. It's your time to save, and it all starts Thursday at Butts.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. It's Mike Salk here, and the opening day for the hotel is August 8th. Book now for an unforgettable summer experience. Go to snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Throw down to second base, tagged by JP on the money, and he is out.
Home. Home is your domain, where you know every inch like the back of your hand.
Julio racing back out of the warning track, but he makes the catch, and he flashes to the no-fly zone.
A place that brings out your protective side, and a place you'll always stand up for.
Going, it will fly away.
Because what's inside is the most valuable thing in the world. Your family. Mariners baseball at T-Mobile Park. Welcome home.
Don't miss out on great Mariners deals all week long, including $11 value game seats tonight and tomorrow versus the Royals and the 4th of July weekend AmeriCombo offer. That's a ticket, Mariner dog, and a refillable soda for just $20. Available Friday through Sunday against the Pirates. Snag your seats today at mariners.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We have some new trade deadline reports, I should say, from Seattle Times' Adam Jude. We're going to get to that at 11:45, a new column he just published this afternoon. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Sticking with the Mariners here, we just had Chandler Rome of The Athletic on. He covers the Astros and talked about what they've been doing so well. For him, it's pitching and then just finding contributions everywhere on the roster. It's not like one guy saving the day for them, though Jose Altuve did have their only run scored of the game with a 2-run bomb the other day. It's also that their pitching has been absolutely phenomenal. Framber Valdez is something like 10-0, or like just an absolutely unreal run by him. The pitching has been amazing. 2 of the best starters in baseball. Boring. I know you guys don't want to hear more about the Astros, but it is important to know what they've been doing well, what's been working, and then to identify things that they may struggle with. And for Chandler, that was offensive production. They badly need to add a bat at the deadline. They have a little bit of a break here with the schedule. They're taking on the Rockies. They are going to face your Dodgers bump, but then they're going to continue with a much easier schedule than Seattle. It's why when I said the next 2 weeks are pretty important for the Mariners, I think it's hugely important for the Mariners that you play some of your best baseball right now. Take this series from the Royals, take a series from the Pirates, because unfortunately for you, you're going to face off against the Yankees and the Tigers before the All-Star break.
Yeah, you got and we don't take it. We're not good enough to look past anybody, right? But you do look at the remaining series before the All-Star break and say, okay, these are the have-tos. You have to win the series against the Royals. You have to win that series against the Pirates, because after that, it's going to get tough. And are they good enough to compete with these teams? Of course they are. We've seen them compete with the Yankees before when they're hot. We've seen them compete with the Tigers before when they're hot. Yeah, of course you can. But you take care of the series you're supposed to take care of. I guarantee you the Yankees are looking at the series against the Mariners and saying, we'll take care of that. The Tigers, same thing, we'll take care of that. So you got to be the spoiler. But when it comes to just playing to the level of your competition, that's the thing, is that when you're playing against the weaker teams, you don't play to their level. You play to your level. When you're playing against the better teams, you do step it up and play to their level. Can you continue to get the pitching that you've been getting and just the sprinkles of help between in the order between like 4 and 9? Can you do that? Because we've seen Cole Young looks like he's coming around and starting to figure some things out. Canzone hits for power. I've never seen him hit a ball weak. This is what he does. He smashes the ball at this point. Solano is slapping the ball all across the yard.
And we've always said that.
We've always said this is what he does.
That's exactly right.
And then the one missing main ingredient is Julio Rodriguez. This is the time. Like if there's a time for Julio to turn it on, which he's been playing decent baseball as of late, right? Not what we want, but decent baseball. If there is a time for him to flip that switch and lead this team, now would be the time because, like I said, I see him moving in the right direction. His launch angles are a little off. He's hitting the top of the ball. He's chopping it down. He's beating out throws at first base. Like he's playing a scrappy kind of baseball right now, which I can appreciate defensively. He's one of the best in the game. But now it's time to smooth it out. You know, you've played your first 9 holes, and I've had a couple doubles out there. Even had a birdie on one of those holes. You get your hot dog at the turn. You get your Bloody Mary, what you need, and then the back 9, things start to come together. That's what I feel is going to happen with Julio.
It's going to need to happen. Some of the Astros' upcoming opponents, not including the Dodgers, who are by far their toughest opponent, certainly until August. Rockies, Guardians, the Rangers, badly struggling offense. They're taking on the Diamondbacks, who are like maybe buyers, maybe sellers. We haven't really decided. They're going to face the A's, the Nationals, the Red Sox, the Marlins before they get to the Yankees in early August. They have a significantly easier schedule than you do. Again, every day is a test in baseball. I get it. Any series can get you. Any series can bite you. Any team can beat you. However, the Rockies are not going to beat the Astros, I fear. I think that this team,
you never know.
This team is not going to have – the Mariners of the two have the harder battle.
Yeah.
Not just to make up ground, but to keep pace. The Astros have an easier schedule than the Mariners do over the next month. They already have, 6.5 games on you? Do you know how hard you're going to have to work as a team to cut into that lead, much less try to keep it within 6 or 6.5? Now, here's the thing. To Bump's point about all those names you're looking to, that's what you have to do. You can't play baseball harder. You can't swing the bat harder. I mean, you could. I mean, quite literally, like there are like things that you can do. But I think that you're going to have to look at, okay, what does this team do well? Where does it already have stock invested, either with money or an identity or development? You're looking at Logan. You're looking at George Kirby. You're looking at Julio.
Well, this is also what you can do or hope for is that we talked to Chandler. He says they've won 17 one-run games this season. All right? So hopefully they keep the game close and you lose a couple of those games. Like you're playing with fire. When you're winning games by a run, you are playing with fire. You beat Philly 2-0. I'm talking about the Astros. You beat Philly 2-1. You beat Chicago 2-0. We've been in those positions before and know how quickly and how easily things can turn. It's unfortunate that you have to hope for another team's downfall, but that's just where you are. When you're 6.5, 7 games behind, you got to hope for them to trip up. So that's why these next series are so important. It's like, all right, Rockies probably not going to beat them, all right? But in the long run, like you mentioned, they got the Dodgers, they got Cleveland, they got Texas. All 3 teams that are capable of winning some of these close games that they've been able to produce over there in Houston. So you take care of what you're supposed to do, and then hope the little homies in Texas fall off.
We're talking X's and O's in 4-down territory at 11:15. Before that, the Athletics' Levi Weaver joins us next.
We've got some breaking news.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Big Dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
If you're going to get tossed meatballs and stuff, all you got to do is connect. You have enough power. You got a big dumper. That ball is going to travel.
What would happen if you switched Cal and Judge? Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby Monday, July 14th, right here on Seattle Sports.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yeah, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Lowe's knows how to set off your July 4th with savings. Right now, buy one, get one free on select one-coat coverage interior paint via Visa gift card rebate. Plus, get two select 2 or 2.5 quart red, white, and blue annuals for just $10. Hurry, these July 4th deals won't last long. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/9. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for more details.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys. And I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
When the heat's in 11,
cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush.
Act now before summer.
Because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave.
Keep your house cool and safe.
Dayandnight.net. Stay cool this summer with Day and Night. Call now to get 10% off an air conditioner or heat pump. Plus, no payments or interest for a year OAC. Restrictions apply. Call for details. Dayandnight.net.
Hold up a sec. If I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfer is available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit Earnin.com for full details.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners beat the Royals in that series opener yesterday. Randy Arozarena hit 2 bombs, the first being number 100 in his career. Cal Raleigh hit his 33rd home run of the season, third most ever by any player through the month of June. Game 2 is tonight, 6:40 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. The Athletics' Levi Weaver joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Levi, how's it going?
Going all right. How are you guys doing up there?
Great. It's sunny. It's beautiful. Mariners just won. It will not surprise you where we're starting this conversation with you. Cal Raleigh just hit his 33rd bomb last night.
Oh, we're not talking about Dominic Canzone?
I would love to talk about Dom Canzone. We'll table it and get back to it. We want to talk about Randy. We want to talk about the pitching, all kinds of things. We'll take a look around some other teams as well. But I have to start with Cal. We have to. I mean, it's been a long time since we've been seriously talking about. And I know that Aaron Judge is the runaway favorite, fairly so. But it's been a long time, Levi, since here in Seattle we've been talking about a Mariners player who's really part of a national conversation. Like, we aren't really treated to those kinds of conversations often. It's rare that I turn on SportsCenter and see people talking about a Mariners catcher, much less just the Mariners as a team. What's it been like for you just kind of watching his season?
It has been, just not a correction, but I hear you say Aaron Judge is a runaway favorite. I think that was true in mid-May. I don't think that that's necessarily true now. I think Cal Raleigh is legitimately an MVP candidate because, and here's what makes it so interesting and special for me, is that he's not doing this as a DH. He's not doing this as a right fielder, and I mean no offense to Aaron Judge. He's a very good outfielder. But to do this as a catcher is it's unbelievable to me what he is doing, like catching as many games as he is. And then also, like, Seattle's it's not a hitter's park. And he's doing this. I took a look, this is a few days ago, but as of a few days ago, it was like 18 home runs away and 14 at home. It's not wildly imbalanced. So it has been really special to watch this happen. And honestly, unexpected. Cal Raleigh's always been a very good defensive catcher, but I looked again today to make sure I was right. And he's never had an OPS over 800. And here he is, going into this last stretch before the All-Star break, OPS over 1,000, and just crushing it. It's been really cool to see.
Levi, how much do you think goes into, right, there's two ways to evaluate a player, right? You look at the numbers, the data, you take that into account, and then you look at just the way that he's doing it, right? Doing it in Seattle, the ballpark that's not very hitter friendly, both sides of the play, you're being a catcher. How much do those variables do you think factor into the voting when it does come down to Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh?
I think it's got to be a little bit of a factor. I mean, I don't know that you can necessarily write off Judge, like, well, he hits his home runs at Yankee Stadium. Okay, true, but a lot of them are bombs. And if you do it, how far down do we want to dig in on the data as to how many of them would have gone out in Seattle or whatever? But I think it's important. And certainly catcher is a far more important defensive position than outfield. So for me, that would be a slight edge to Cal. If the numbers were exactly even at the plate, then playing catcher and being a good one too, not just like a guy that bashes home runs and can barely get a glove on the ball, like one of the best catchers in the sport. Yeah, that counts for something for sure.
I'm curious, Levi, about your conversations with other baseball folks when it comes to Cal. We're kind of insulated here in Seattle, so we have some of our own theories as to what might be happening. And one of them is just an unreal season you're not going to see again from someone who can hit for power. But there's the torpedo bat conversation, working on his success in hitting from the right side. What have you, or maybe the people you've spoken with, typically settle on when it comes to looking at Cal's improvement? Because you're right. You mentioned previous season's OPS. He might be leading all catchers in home runs, but you were not seeing this.
Right. I don't know that that there's been any sort of consensus. Everybody's kind of sort of scratching their heads and going, wow, heck of a season, man. I don't, does the torpedo bat have an effect? I don't know. I think it's probably too early for me anyway to really feel like I can rely on any data about the torpedo bat. It's interesting to me. I'm keeping an eye on it, but I'm not ready to assign an MVP season to that just yet. I don't know. And I think the fact that it is only halfway through the season, and that's not a very satisfying answer. I would love to be the baseball genius that goes, oh, I can tell you what it is.
Tell you exactly what happened.
But I think probably for the sake of, my own credibility, I think but the best answer I can give is that I haven't heard any theories that feel like a slam dunk to me. I think it's probably going to take a second half of the season before we really start to know kind of what happened.
What do you think about the young talent over here with the Mariners and a Cole Young, you go Williamson, you get on the mound, you go Hancock as well. Do you feel like these guys have the potential to be foundational pieces, or do you think that some more dramatic moves need to be made at the trade deadline or maybe during the offseason?
I think they have the potential to be some of those foundational pieces. I just don't know that it's this year. And so, I think the Mariners, I was looking at their stats before I called you because I don't want to sound dumb on the radio in Seattle. And looking at OPS, I think you got 3 or 4 guys with OPS plus over 100 that are having good seasons, but the only guy on the team with an OPS over 800, which is kind of you're hitting that star like, oh, this guy's a force to be reckoned with. There was not a surprise that I brought up Dominic Canzone. If I read right, I think he's the only other guy with an OPS over 800. So I think they could use another bat. Weirdly, I feel like they could use another starting pitcher because Bryce Miller hasn't been quite as good as expected. It's taken. Why am I blanking on his name? Brian Woo's been amazing. Who's the guy that just came back from injury, who was an all-star?
Oh, Logan Gilbert.
Yeah, so Gilbert's been pretty good. Shoot, the last
Kirby.
I researched. Yes, George Kirby. Thank you.
It had to be one of the two.
I knew I was going to sound dumb at some point today.
No.
Yeah, George Kirby. I think it's taking him a while to get back into form, and so the bullpen's been pretty great, with the exception of some fairly high-profile meltdowns occasionally a few weeks ago. But they've been very, very good. So I think maybe a starting pitcher, probably another bat, and those young guys I think are. You look at them either as probably not trade pieces. I feel like they're good enough that they'll be good for years to come. But I just don't think they're guys that are going to be World Series producers this year.
We just spoke with your colleague at The Athletic, Chandler Rome, about the Astros earlier. We've been taking a look around the AL West. Chandler, wonderful person. Great interview, just depressing information for Mariners fans. I mean, the thing that stuck with me most, and I'm guessing this is for Bump too, we talked about it for like a minute afterwards, is just the idea of a team that's gotten the most out of their pitching and is also, despite offensive struggles, somehow just getting things at the right time. They're benefiting from a good schedule here. But, Levi, if we were to turn to you for some hope, and this isn't me asking you to lie and say that you think that the Mariners will absolutely surpass the Astros, no problem. If I were to guess, you're probably counting on the Astros to win the AL West. But if there is a recipe for success for the Mariners or maybe a potential Achilles heel for the Astros, what does that look like?
Well, okay, so the optimistic take here is Jeremy Pena just fractured his ribs. He has been by far their best offensive player. In fact, he's been, I think, the 4th most valuable player in the league, hitting leadoff for them, fueling what little offense they've had. He's going to be out for a little while. Jordan Alvarez still isn't back, but I guess, they've been winning games without him. So there's that. Who knows how losing their best player is going to affect them over the coming weeks. From the Mariners standpoint, you got a little stretch here with the Royals and the Pirates. You got a chance to make some hay. And then it's not going to be easy going into the break. I think that'll be the testing ground to see exactly where this team is. Once you get past the All-Star break, it doesn't get a whole lot easier either. I guess maybe the optimistic take is that the Astros might falter without their best player. And if the Mariners are going to wilt, we should know before the trade deadline instead of leaving into the last week of the season and, the heartbreaking crestfallen finish.
There's a couple teams in the division that my eyes just naturally look past, right, when we're trying to figure out who's going to win this division, One would be the Angels, other would be the Athletics. The Angels only 2.5 games behind the Mariners when it comes to that wild card spot. How seriously should this division be taking the Angels at this point?
I really hope there's no Angels fans listening, because I love Angels fans. They're so optimistic every year, and a little bit miserable, and they're kind of my people. But listen, until the Angels prove otherwise, they're allergic to the playoffs. Like every year, my standing joke is, oh, maybe X player that they signed will be the difference for them to make the playoffs this year. And it's always a funny joke because it never works. It's for the same reason that kind of every year people ask about the AL West, and I go, well, it's the Astros until it's not. You know, until they prove otherwise, they're the favorites. The Angels are not going to make the playoffs until they do, and at some point they'll prove me wrong. I don't think it's this year.
Yeah, they kind of have some other fan bases in that division that just are calloused and just long suffering. The Mariners, obviously, being one of those. I do want to ask about some other teams around the league, particularly as we inch toward the trade deadline. We're seeing a report that the Red Sox could potentially be sellers, that maybe the Mariners look at someone like Bregman. But before I do, we've been talking a lot about the All-Star game, All-Star voting, obviously with Cal Raleigh as originally the leading vote getter among catchers. And then there's round 2, where he and Alejandro Kirk are facing off again. I haven't met many people that love the kind of reworking of All-Star voting. What do you think about it?
You've tapped into one of the things that makes me sound a little bit more like Chandler Rome, which is to say kind of grumpy. I don't like it. I don't like it's. I understand why they're doing it. It's the more votes they get, you have to go to the website every time you vote.
Engagement.
And so, hey, guess what? Your votes for the last round didn't count. You got to come back and you got to do it all in 3 days. And then we're gonna, every time somebody clicks on that website, they're seeing an ad, and those are ads that are being sold. Great. Good for baseball for making money. It's a hassle. It's not super intuitive. And it does lead to maybe something like this, where you've got Cal Raleigh, who should be far and away the leading vote getter at catcher. It's no contest, right? But now you've put him up against an entire country of Canada, and you put him up against, maybe there are people who hate the Mariners or have not been paying attention. It's dumb. I think it's a faulty system. I understand why they do it, but I'm not a fan. And while I'm at it, move the draft back to June so we don't have to do this over the All-Star break. We need a break.
Seriously. Do we know when do we not know about where Cal and Alejandro are in voting until they kind of announce?
I don't, but I'll be very honest with you. It's because I kind of don't pay attention to it until I have to write about it. Because it is annoying, and it is kind of like, great. I'm not, I don't know that my newsletter is going to push votes. And so I just sort of push it to the back of my mind, grumble about it, and then when the votes come out, then I'll check. So I think we won't know until I don't know. I don't know if they give updates or not.
What's your standing on Julio right now? It's tough for fans out here to, I guess, appreciate what you are getting out of him. He's not slugging, but he's hitting the baseball hard. Defensively, he's playing some good ball. From the outside looking in, what's your perspective on Julio in this season so far?
I think exactly what you said. I think if you're not paying close attention, it's easy to look at those numbers and be like, wow, I thought that guy was going to be a star. I guess that's a disappointment. And then when you watch, and I've watched a few Mariners games lately, I think probably 5 or 6 in the last 2 weeks. He's a good player. He still is giving the team production. He's helping the team win. So it is kind of like, being a gifted and talented kid, and then you make a B in algebra in high school, and your parents are like, I thought you were gifted and talented. You're like, yeah, mom, it's a B plus, no less. Like, I did good here. It is. He's still young. I still really hope that there is more of that ceiling that we saw a couple years ago available to him, and that this is not just the league adjusting and him not being able to readjust. But he's still a good player, and the question, of course, for fans who care about the owner's money is, is he worth that contract? And frankly, I don't know. I don't really care. If he's a good player and he's helping your team, then that's it's not your money. So just enjoy watching an exciting player.
Last one for me, just kind of checking in on the trade deadline here. Obviously, we've still got a month to go, and there's going to be a lot of moving pieces. I'm really fascinated by just the sellers market, not really being able to tell which teams at all are going to be sellers, and the Mariners are going to be looking to add, like you mentioned, both to pitching and to the lineup, and I'm just not sure who's going to be selling. Is there anyone that's kind of on the fence that you think may tip toward being a seller as we inch into the next month here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how interdivision trades, those are always a little tricky, but the Rangers don't look like they've got it this year. And you know, one that is really fascinating to me is the Atlanta Braves, because I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. But the talent on the team is good enough that you could kind of see both ways, right? Like you could dish out some budget, you know, get rid of a couple of guys, be sellers at the deadline, and then try and re-up for next year. Or you could say, hey, this year was a fluke. We're keeping everybody. We're going to maybe even add because we know that next year we're still going to be good, and this is a guy that's available, so we're going to bring him in for 2026. But if the Braves do decide to sell, I think they could be an interesting roster of dudes to take a look at. The reason it's tricky is, and I'm sure you know this, like when they expanded the playoffs, now you've got so many teams making it in. You know, the team like the Red Sox you brought up, right? The Red Sox are under 500. They should be sellers. It's mid-July, you're under 500. That used to be like end of conversation. Well, okay, now they're only a few games out of a wild card spot. Some things break right. Some guys get hot. Alex Bregman comes back from the injured list. So he could maybe sneak in, so maybe it's not quite time to be a seller. And there are a lot of teams in that middle ground, and it just makes it so difficult to try and ascertain who is going to be a seller this early in July.
He is the Athletics' Levi Weaver. Levi, thanks for the time, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Levi.
Anytime. Take care.
Speaking of that second phase of All-Star voting, two things. Curtis and a listener let us know that they just less than an hour ago released updates. You don't have the vote totals, but Cal is in first ahead of Alejandro Kirk. The second phase is open. Cal Raleigh needs your help to earn a starting spot at this year's Midsummer Classic, so you can vote for the Big Dumper and do it at MLB.com/vote. Also, you can still cast your vote for Cal on the Seattle Sports app directly. Just click on the vote tab in the bottom right-hand corner. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, Bump. What's a move you didn't expect but love?
Our favorite rapping tight end is back in the NFL. Back in the NFL.
Oh, man.
Darren Waller's coming out of retirement, and he's going to play some ball, man. He had two 1,000-yard seasons in 19 and 20, and he's going to, I believe, the Miami Dolphins. I don't know why I didn't write that down. Yeah, the Dolphins. But, yeah, and I think this is the best move for these guys because who's available at the tight end spot? I went and saw the available tight ends. You have Gerald Everett, who had a decent season here. Mercedes Lewis, he's 41 years of age. You got Atkins, you have Nick Van Ack, just some of the guys who are available out there. And he set out last year. My man is healthy. He got his music on. And let me tell you, he got better with his rap game.
He did, though.
He got better.
He really did.
All right, there's some progression there. But I guarantee he wasn't making enough money for him to think, okay, I'm just going to do this for the rest of my life or as long as I can do it. But no, he's back in the NFL, and I like this for him because obviously if you don't know Darren Waller, he had his struggles with addiction, which he overcame. He got a divorce from Plum. I'm sure that does something to his mind, and he walked away for a little bit. I think he can still play in this league. He's only, 31 years old or something like that. I'm happy to see him back in the game, and I want to see what he looks like because I think he's more than capable of being a number one tight end for a team in the NFL.
And more than capable of releasing a third single. Like, let's hear what's next from him. The
What's
first
next?
one we kind of like
What was the first one?
made fun of a little bit.
It was a slow jam.
But yeah,
What
was Curtis, do you remember what the line was that we would constantly repeat? We need to find it. We need to find it.
We were on
We
it
don't
for like
have
a
to
week.
find it. We
were on it.
God, there was something. Yes. Take your time.
Take time to heal.
And then wait, it's almost here.
It's hard to give out of your soul. It's hard to give out of your soul. It's hard out here, man. Have your heart broken in return, but it's time. Take your time to heal.
Take your time to heal. So it wasn't the best debut.
It wasn't.
Okay, it wasn't the best, but
he got better.
He got better.
He got
the
better.
second one, we'll find a radio-friendly edit maybe
Second
of the
one,
next one.
low key.
Listen.
Should be on my my workout mix. Honestly.
Second down. Should feel honored and disrespected once again.
Big Cat Williams, man. Barely got into the Pro Bowl last year. People sleeping on him as an alternate. But now the NFL puts out their top 100, and he's ranked 99 out of 100. How, Sway? How? He was 10th when it comes to sacks in the NFL, 11.5. He was 9th when it comes to TFLs, 16. And he had an interception for a touchdown. The disrespect needs to stop when it comes to Leo Big Cat Williams. So just another thing to keep a chip on his shoulder. He's going to be one of the better defensive linemen in this game this year. And rumors are saying the Hawks are in play for Mr. Watt over there out of Pittsburgh. The streets are talking, man. There's articles being written about it that this will be the best landing spot for him if he were to go over there and get Watt. Team him up with Leo and Lawrence, Jay Reed, everybody else in that defensive line. It could be something special. But the disrespect needs to stop with Big Cat. 99 out of 100. He should at least be in the 80s, man. At least in the 80s.
I mean, look, it's not like Mike McDonald isn't plenty familiar with him as Ravens had to face him, right?
Right.
Like, so
he knows what's up.
A lot of TJ Watt.
He knows what's up.
I like this third down. Third down. What's an example of athletes being delusional, but at the same time you don't mind it?
Yeah, athletes, you have to be delusional. Like the greats think they are the greatest and they actually are. Everyone else, you pretend to be great or convince yourself that you're great, and maybe you're just really good, or maybe you're average. But this guy, Max Crosby, says he is the best pass rusher in the world, Craig.
Like all time?
In
forever?
the world. Right now, he's the best in the world. I say delusional, but I like it, Max. I ain't mad at you. Over the last, 3 seasons, he's 4th when it comes to sacks. He had 7.5 in 12 games last year. He's not the best in the world, but he's better than average. He's right behind TJ Watt. He's right behind Nick Bosa. He's right behind Daniel Hunter, Michael Parsons, and Trey Hendrickson. Not the best in the world, but you got to convince yourself of that sometimes. You might take your game to the next level. Only played 12 games last year. Who knows what would have happened if he played all 17, but I like this. I mean, and some fans get rubbed the wrong way when people say, I'm the best in the world, I'm the best at this. You don't know the mental space you have to operate in as an athlete if you really want to be productive. Not mad at Max Crosby at all for saying this, but I'd say he's maybe the 7th best in the world.
4th down. Seattle Times Seahawks reporter Bob Condotta made a big prediction about the Seahawks wide receiver room. What was it, and do you agree?
Man, he said that he can see the Seahawks cutting ties with Derek Young. And that hurts my soul because I see what Derek Young does at practice and during the games. He's a special teamer. I think he can play some good receiver. He also played tight end when he was in college. But he's predicting JSN, MVS, Cooper Kupp, Horton, Bobo, and Sims. The dark horse in that thing is Sims. I've watched Sims throughout training camp, and he's making plays. But Bob Condotta says it's the versatility that's going to get Sims on the football field. And Bobo is just a great special teams player, and we know he's good in the red zone. Do I agree with him? Probably. I hope that he's wrong, though, because I feel like Derek Young has just been been put behind the 8 ball. And I don't understand why. I'm not there every day in practice. I'm not in the meeting rooms with him. I don't know what the ins and outs of who he is and what he does and doesn't do when you're in the classroom. But I see the value in Derek Young as a number 4, number 5 receiver, special teams type of guy. So, yeah, we'll see how this thing all shakes up. And then White, too. White the third from UNLV. I wonder where he's going to land. Maybe he's a practice squad guy. But you got a lot of options in this receiver room. If it ends up like this, I'm not mad at the situation. I just hope Derek Young gets a shot.
Would the Mariners have interest in trading for one of the faces of the 2017 Astros? The answer, reportedly, is yes. That's next.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
It's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
you're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
For all the hassle, with all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are uncomfortable selling their own car. So how do you get the most money for your used car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car and pay you right up front for it, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most from my friends and colleagues is, what's the catch? And how can they offer this? It's super simple. All the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auctions, like purchase fees, shipping, and travel expenses, is what allows them to offer this. They'd rather share that money they save with you than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as their competitors and then share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you sell your car anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers, and it's only at Wayscar Ford. That's wayscarford.com, Wayscar Ford in Auburn.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Bump here for the Got to Go used car sales event at West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Last month's beach party event was such a success, they had too many trade-ins and now they need to liquidate. Choose from over 350 used vehicles in stock and ready to move. Shop the Got to Go used car sales event June 27th through July 6th at West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram and all other Hazelwood locations. Just off the Auto Center Way exit, Highway 3, Bremerton.
Hazelwood has it.
Get ready to rock with Bret Michaels at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center, Thursday night, July 10th. Rock and roll rebel Bret Michaels. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Bret Michaels rocks your world July 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help, call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Wait, if I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas, explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Riereka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It's The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, taking a look at the top trending stories on our own timelines, and one of them quite literally did hit our timeline. It's the latest from Adam Jude of the Seattle Times, who posted some reports he's hearing both in and outside of Seattle about the trade deadline. Would the Mariners have interest in trading for one of the faces of the 2017 Astros? It turns out the answer is maybe yes. This is what Adam writes on Alex Bregman's availability. The Red Sox have a 5-8 record since trading Devers. Their playoff odds have shrunk to 17.4%. They also have a core of young prospects. Like, they have a chance to have more of a youth movement going on. He said, all that considered, would they be tempted to trade star third baseman Alex Bregman? There are complicating factors surrounding the question. For one, how would Boston fans react to such a deal so soon after the Devers trade? For another, Bregman's been sidelined for the past 6 weeks with a quad injury. Will he be healthy in the second half of the season? And yes, his 3-year, $120 million contract would likely loom large in any trade discussion, but Bregman does have an opt-out clause he can exercise this winter. The trade seems like a long shot, but if Boston does make him available, sources have said the Mariners would be interested.
Are we talking with our heart or with our mind? The heart.
Why don't you go heart first?
The heart is saying, "Nah, I'm good, dog.
Okay,
I'm good."
Really?
Yeah. The heart is saying
2017.
The heart is saying, "Yeah, it's just
the money,
yeah,
health."
Exactly.
You're saying like, I'm just not feeling excited about that one.
No, 31 years of age.
Yeah, okay.
Bad history with the Astros.
Now, what is the mind?
The mind is saying anything we got to do to win. Anything we got to do to win. I'll change his name to Belix Agman. I will call him by his middle name. I won't even trip. Because that's how desperate I am for this team to have success.
Yes.
And I think that's the tough part. I've done business with people that I necessarily didn't like. Didn't like them, but I knew their business mind was on point, and we can both benefit each other as long as the emotions were on point and we stayed in our lane. This thing should be able to work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, right? That's the risk of doing business anyway. With Bregman, that's the way that I would have to approach this. Just, all right, well, forget the past. I'm going to treat you for who you are now. Don't you me over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the way I feel about it. I think the fans, I'm sure the Texans are going to blow up and be like, heck no, we don't want him. You know why? Because you're making decisions with your heart.
Yeah.
You're not making decisions with your mind.
Let me tell you what. If Alex Bregman, a number of other 2017 Astros, and I've mentioned all day how I loathe the Astros, how that team should have the World Series stripped, and how they really didn't need to cheat. They were such a great team, but they did it to themselves. I would do anything to win. If that means, like, I can respect that kind of hyper-competitiveness. Right. I may look down on it and be like, but you cheated. But there's also part of you that goes, look, suck it up. You don't win with a team of plucky underdogs. You go get the best pieces you can possibly find.
Yep.
And if Alex Bregman is one of those, great. I would be so all in on this move. I am all in on just fine, overpay, whatever, figure out the opt-out stuff. However, he hasn't played, and Adam mentions this, since May 23rd. That was his last game. In his last 5 games, he had 3 hits across those games, no home runs. So maybe he was dealing with that nagging injury, and finally they placed him on the IL. I would want to know. Like, I don't know that there's a way to know. I want to know, like, so is he mostly done? Is he, like, here in September? What's the actual deal on the injury? That's my holdup. Nothing to do with 2017.
Yeah, the thing with Bregman, though, he has a resume. Yeah, he's banged up, but we're not asking a 22, 23-year-old to get called up from Tacoma and save the day. This guy has been in these pressure situations. He's had some great at-bats. Like, he is a pro's pro. Whether you like him personally or his past or not, it is what it is. I'm making a decision with my mind, and I'm saying if this is as best we can get, I'll roll the dice and hope that he comes in healthy enough to contribute to this ball team.
206 said, I don't forget the past. I would let it happen if he publicly apologized and admitted what he did. Let me tell you what, if Alex Bregman was healthy and had 28 bombs through June, he could come in and say, I'd bang those cans again, and I'd be like, sign him. Sign him. I want the playoffs so badly. Ian, were you going to say something?
Injury-wise, just from a Red Sox fan's perspective, because I pay more attention to these things, his quotes recently have been all, I'm 100%. He's just kind of waiting on the okays from the doctors. It sounds like he's maybe a week or 2 away from a rehab start, so they're hoping that he'd come back in the second half. From a team perspective, the fan view is once they traded Devers, they basically handed the keys to the team to Bregman. So trading him away, he's kind of the core veteran that's holding everything together right now. He's teaching up all of the young guys. Yesterday, he was on the iPad with Marcelo Meyer. Like, he's a really important locker room piece to that clubhouse. So I don't think they're going to deal him unless they get something they just cannot refuse.
Both the 253 and a 360 saying, wouldn't you rather have Suarez, or are you taking Bregman or Suarez? I would absolutely rather have Gino Suarez.
Oh, yeah.
I am like
For
70-30 no on whether the Diamondbacks are actually going to be sellers and move Suarez.
No, I don't think they are. I mean, him and Naylor just having themselves a nice little season. Those are the 2 pieces that you would want from over there. But just like a lot of the teams in the majors right now, they still feel like they are in the mix. And if you still feel like you're in the mix, you're going to be hesitant to trade off some pieces. Actually, they're not in the mix. I'm tripping. 10.5 behind in the division. I don't know. I think that if I'm picking the 2 out of the 2, I'm definitely going Suarez.
Yeah.
Right? Just the vibe and the feel is completely different with Suarez. We know he's going to bring power. He's going to strike out a lot. That's what he does. But he's going to hit bombs. So, yeah, that's an easy decision right there.
I know. Someone said we stand for nothing. Tell that to Little League kids.
For nothing.
Bro,
this ain't Little League.
Can I just say something
Professional
too?
sports, son.
I have, and Bump has, Curtis, everyone on the station multiple times berated the Astros for what they did. We're not talking about someone who murdered someone. We're not talking, like, you cheated. I look down on you. I judge you. I think you're trash, no pun intended. Like that entire organization for what they did. You sullied the game. Shame on you. And rightfully you're getting booed, and you've been booed on new teams that you've gone to. That being said, I'm sorry, but you stand for nothing. I don't know that applies when it's not someone who's like a truly horrendous person. Like, I'm not going to sit here saying sign someone who committed fill-in-the-blank crime. I'm talking about a team that's made the playoffs once in 23 years, finding some kind of answer in your corner infield. I'm sorry, but to me, that is pathetic. And it's not for a lack of trying. Like, I will get tip of the cap. Like, this team has had great prospects. They've built up great farm systems. They've had elite pitching. Like, in so many ways, it feels like you're right on the verge of figuring it out, and I want to give them credit for that. But you have made the playoffs once in 23 years.
Hey, you get the best available, man. This ain't Little League. That's the difference, too. If that's your concern, tell that to Little Leaguers. Then just keep coaching Little League and keep everything nice and fluffy and have orange slices ready for them. That's fine. But this is professional sports. You do what you got to do to win. He hasn't murdered anybody. He had no allegations for like sexual misconduct or anything like that.
Then we'd be having a different conversation.
Yeah, it's different. But we're talking about an organization that cheated, and he was part of that. That doesn't mean he's a bad father or bad husband or whatnot. Here's what you can do. If they were to sign Bregman, boom, the first time you see him.
Sure.
And then after that, welcome to the family.
Yeah.
Everyone has like an in-law or an uncle that married into the family that you don't really rock with. Like, all right, I don't really like that dude, but he's part of the family. And as soon as he comes to the cookout, you got his back from here on out.
This is a really interesting market. I I believe Adam's sourcing and reporting. He's an excellent reporter. I have always like a little flag up when I hear like, oh, the Mariners would be willing to do this. I'm like, oh, really? Because they could have. So the fact that they could have done it in the offseason and did not do it makes me think they are not especially inclined to actually overpay or to actually give up a lot or to actually do this.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just hinting that they're willing to be a little uncomfortable at the deadline if they're really competitive. So I'll believe it when I see it. To answer some of the other texts, yes, I would prefer Gino Suarez.
Yeah,
He's
for
a
sure.
really deeply likable person, a great clubhouse guy. He's got a ton of power, just hit his 29th bomb. An absolutely unreal season from him. I'm so confused about what the Diamondbacks are trying to do.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Diamondbacks bust a move. Particularly over here.
We stayed pretty heavily on this one topic, so we'll get back to some of those deadline plans, talk about phase 2 of the American League, and I guess we'll just check in on the rest of the league. That's coming your way next.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
Julio's whole deal of being simple is I'm going to swing.
The percentage of pitches that he's swinging at by season. Last year, 54.3. This year, 57.1.
Still puts the bat to the ball, but is that what you want to swing
His
at?
chase percentage is essentially exactly what it's been. So he's not swinging at a lot more bad pitches. He's just swinging at everything.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
This summer, Pier 62 is your place to move, breathe, and feel alive. Friends of Waterfront Park invites you to free weekly fitness on the waterfront. Stretch out with yoga every Wednesday evening. Unwind with sound baths right after. Then turn up the energy Sundays with high-vibe Zumba classes by We Move to Give. All bodies welcome and totally free. Just register online and enjoy Seattle's waterfront like never before. Details and registration at waterfrontparkseattle.org.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
It's the Graz here for my friends at Premier Golf. Take advantage of early sunrise and late sunset at the 11 different Premier courses today. From Bellingham, Everett, and Marysville to Linwood, Bellevue, and Seattle, even out on the coast, they've got a course near you. Play Inner Bay or Jackson, Bill Wright or West Seattle, Bellevue, Legion Memorial, Walter Hall, Linwood, Cedar Crest, Lake Patton, and even Ocean Shores. Courses are in great shape and ready for your next round. Visit PremierGolfCenters.com, that's PremierGolfCenters.com, and book your tee time today.
the home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Business leaders know to solve a problem, you gotta look at it in a new way. Like travel between Seattle and Portland. Why is it such a pain? I-5 traffic, TSA slowdowns, SeaTac hassles. Seaport removes those pain points. We fly out of Boeing Field and a private terminal at PDX. You park for free, steps away from your plane. And with flights every 45 minutes, you're always home for dinner. Problem solved. Seaport Airlines. It's about time.
Seattle Children's is leading the fight against pediatric cancer with groundbreaking research in immunotherapy. It reprograms a child's own T cells to hunt down and destroy cancer. It's hope, powered by science. But here's the truth. Pediatric cancer research is drastically underfunded. That's why Safeway is stepping up, and you can too. G. Scott here asking you to say yes to donating to Immunoheroes next time you're at Safeway checkout. Together, we can help fight cancer for all kidkind.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit suplinen.com.
Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. It's Mike Salk here, and the opening day for the hotel is August 8th. Book now for an unforgettable summer experience. Go to snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
If you're just now joining us, we were just talking about Adam Jude's latest column for the Seattle Times, talking about what he's hearing about the Mariners' deadline plans. We began with a report from Adam that the Mariners would be interested in acquiring Alex Bregman should he become available and if the price is right and all those things. But we have a couple other notes from this column. Again, it's on seattletimes.com, the Seattle Times app, the latest from Adam Jude. Okay, here we go. He said that the Mariners' top trade priorities, a couple pieces. They're prioritizing upgrades, says Adam, at the corner infield positions. They've also made it known they'd like to upgrade the bullpen with one additional arm. In an ideal scenario, they're looking at like the deadline they had last summer, acquiring Randy Arozarena, Jimmy Garcia, Justin Turner. So like acquiring a couple guys. Maybe you get a veteran in there. You get someone who can add a little bit of power, but adding a couple pieces. He added that some corner infielders they have interested in. We've heard multiple times about Ryan O'Hearn from Baltimore. Arizona's Josh Naylor is another that's been linked to Seattle. Vinny Pasquantino, Kansas City. We saw him yesterday. See him for the rest of this series. And Cleveland's Carlos Santana. Two other names worth monitoring at first base.
Just can't quit Carlos Santana.
Can't quit him.
Why would you? Wonderful
Can't quit
person.
him. You see the way he wears his uni?
Mm-mm.
Those pants are
like
3
bike
inches above the
shorts.
knee. Like high.
Like a nice capri.
Like capri, but he has
Little
socks
airflow?
pulled all the way up. You know, there's only a few that can pull that off. And Carlos is one of them. We still do the dang celebration that Carlos brought over here. You can't quit him. It's like Carlos and Gino are the two names that just will never disappear. But listen, you have to get better at the corner infield spots. You just do. I think defensively, Williamson has been okay. Solano's been decent at first base, routed when he's out there. Yeah, he's not the most agile of first baseman out there, obviously because of his size, but it's all about production. I think defensively they've been decent at the corner spots, but it's all about offensive production. If you can get better, then you get better. You do exactly what you have to do, and you look at every name.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about it.
Obviously, any of these names would interest me. Let's talk about whether or not, I don't want to say whether or not they actually get it done, but to what degree they continue to add. I'm going to go to the part of Adam's column when he talks about what they're actually working with when it comes to spending power. He said, do the Mariners have the resources to swing a deal? Yes. The Mariners have one of the best farm systems in the sport. We all knew this. 9 prospects ranked in Baseball America's top 100, which is more than any other team. He said Jerry Dipoto has shown he's willing to package prospects for proven major league talent. They have a premium trade chip in Harry Ford, who's obviously kind of blocked right now by Cal Raleigh. You always want to have that depth at catcher. You want to have a great prospect in your system. But I go back to that idea of prospect hoarding we've talked about a million times, and kind of how you balance keeping these guys that you've spent months and years evaluating and working with, and then also trying to win.
There's nowhere for Harry to go. He's not going to play catcher for the Mariners, not on a day-to-day basis. And when you're young, you're trying to crack the league, he needs ABs. He needs that experience. And why just keep him stored in Tacoma for years and years and years, knowing that Cal is the guy? Cal has established himself as the best catcher in the game. All right, so you're not going to bring up Harry Ford to be a backup and watch him struggle and maybe ruin this young man's career. If there's anyone that you start shipping right now or start putting out there, it is Harry Ford. And it's unfortunate because we spoke to the young man, think he's great. We hear a lot of great things about him when we do the dugout and the farm report and all that good stuff. But it is what it is. If we're not going to see him on the baseball field, go ahead and try to make a move for him. Harry Ford would be prospect number one in my opinion.
We're still getting a lot of back and forth. It's like split 50-50 on the text line when it comes to Bregman. Yeah, because I think that, look, there are two things that will get Mariners fans in general, and I don't mean like I mean like I will be part of this conversation too as someone who watches this team, up in arms. Number one, prospect hoarding. Do you hang on to the guys you love? Do you move for them? There are so many people that say, oh my God, these are the best possible ways to build up a championship team. And we do have evidence of that. When you look around at some of the best teams in baseball, they have a lot of homegrown pieces, and I get that. And then there's a separate group of people that say, you need to win. You need to ship off these pieces. If you need to trade Harry Ford for essentially a rental, but that guy gets you to the postseason, then do that. And then likewise, you're going to have someone counter with, well, I don't want one trip to the postseason. I do. I do. Mm-hmm. Curtis, how many times have the Mariners been to the playoffs in franchise history? 6 trips?
5 times.
5 times.
Is that good?
5 times.
They will celebrate, I believe, their 50th anniversary in 2027.
That's not good. I am begging people. I am begging people to want more from this team. The front office. I mean, they've talked multiple times about wanting to build a World Series team, about wanting to get there. Why would you not take risks? Why would you not want your team to get to the postseason? Because you don't think just a wild card visit's worth giving up Harry Ford? Well, what if it ends up being more than that the next year? What if that is a move that you can continue to build on?
I think the problem with the fan base is that because they haven't experienced success, they might not understand what it takes to be successful when it comes to professional sports, especially baseball, when you have one of the best farm systems in the game, when you have one of the best rotations in the game. You got to take some risk, even if it means getting a rental and having your heart broken when the season's over and him saying, peace out, I'm out of here, right? You gave yourself an opportunity. And if you are a franchise who's only been to the playoffs 5 times in 50 years, all you want is an opportunity. Because you know why? If these bats are hot, if you're 1 through 4 perform like the way they're supposed to, if Kyle stays hot, if Julio gets better, if Randy does his thing, JP continues to get on base, and you throw a little extra sauce in that thing, that might be the ingredient to push you over the top, but you never know if you don't try. And you can try and you can fail. And you can come back and be disappointed and angry. Why did they get rid of Harry Ford or all these other prospects? Because they wanted an opportunity. They wanted a chance to get into the playoffs and to do something special. Scared money don't make money. As simple as that. So you have to do something that you're uncomfortable with and make some moves that that might not please the fan unless it's instant success. And that's the scary part, I think, for the organization, is that they're so hesitant to make these moves because nothing is guaranteed in sports. If you do not have a payroll like the big dogs, you got to make moves like this to give yourself an opportunity. Mm-hmm. So it's the lack of success. So people don't know what it looks like. You don't know what it looks like. It looks different than what the Mariners have been doing. All right, so why not allow them to do something that we haven't really seen?
I'm very curious to see as you know, our local reporters continue to kind of cover this, what we start hearing about what the team might be willing to do. I, and you as well, had high praise for that trade deadline involving Arozarena. We thought that they got the best bat at the deadline. We were really happy with what they did. Randy at the time was really hot when he was acquired by Seattle. I thought it was a great deadline. You thought so as well.
Yep.
Garcia obviously didn't end up working out, but Randy hit 2 bombs yesterday, including his 100th of his career. Congratulations to him again. So, again, I think that this is a winnable division. Again, the Astros have an easier schedule than you do, particularly this month. I'll say it. This is a winnable division. You have someone who is in the conversation for AL MVP in a season in which Aaron Judge is doing stuff we haven't seen since Barry Bonds. You have some pieces in your pitching staff that are getting healthier, that are showing some more promising outings. We'll see what the rest of the year, has for them. Maybe they continue to add to that group. You have a group that you can be competitive with some tweaks. Is it a group that's going to be a favorite for a World Series? No, it's not. But I think that you'll find that you'll solve a lot of problems when it comes to convincing players to sign here in free agency, things like that, when you start winning more often and getting to the playoffs more often. You got to take baby steps. Your first trip to the playoffs, or I know that they were there in 2022, but like, you can't wait to compete until you've got a team you're sure is going to win a World Series. Consistent trips to the playoffs, consistent growth, consistent winning, starting to change that culture and make it as positive and competitive as possible. And then you're going to find that you can build off of that. So we'll see what that looks like at the deadline when they have a chance to build. We are, though, going to have kind of a lighthearted conversation here, a look around baseball, some top stories, and then also ranking the coolest things you can do in a baseball game. That's coming up next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The one, the only Tim Kirkchin is with us. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm just as confused as you are about the Mariners, if they're going to get really good or not.
Is it hard to understand where their needs truly are as we approach that trade deadline?
This team is due for a great stretch of great starting pitching. If they can score a few runs, maybe they can really make a playoff berth in the American League.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
When the heat's in 11,
cool AC would be heaven.
dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush.
Act now before summer,
because that heat's a real bummer.
dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave.
Keep your house cool and safe.
dayandnight.net. Stay cool this summer with Day and Night. Call now to get 10% off an air conditioner or heat pump. Plus, no payments or interest for a year OAC. Restrictions apply. Call for details. dayandnight.net.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. It's just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even I added too much water to the pizza dough day?
Yep.
How about getting a call from my daughter to pick her up at the airport because her boyfriend is unreliable day?
Especially that day.
What about finding out that one of my pipes suddenly burst in my basement day?
Progressive has every day covered 24/7 with a Home and Auto Bundle. Also, you have a lot of bad days.
Oh no, that was all the same day.
At least you're covered with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Big Trees has certified arborists and site experts who help you select the right trees for the right location on your property. When Big Trees installs a tree, we offer a 1-year warranty and 1 free aftercare visit from a board-certified master arborist. To learn more about our process, visit BigTreeSupply.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners beat the Royals in their season opener yesterday. Randy Arozarena hit 2 bombs, his first being number 100 of his career, and Cal Raleigh hit his 33rd homer of the season, third most ever by any player through June. Game 2 tonight, 6:40 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. We've got kind of a baseball potpourri topic here. We're ranking the coolest things you can do in baseball and then celebrating a beloved holiday in the baseball world first. We were debating the coolest things you can do in a game. Okay, so this is inspired by in the Red Sox game the other day, an inside the park home run and grand slam happened. Same player in the same game. I was watching Jen on the broadcast say it was the first time since 1950,
1958.
58.
Roger Maris.
Absolutely insane. Okay, so I wanted to throw your way some things that happen in games. And you have to tell me the order in which you would rank them. Or kind of debate which would be number one. And you guys can join this conversation. We're having a lighthearted, let's have a fun conversation about what the coolest things you can do in a game. Because hear me out. I have not, and there are many responses to this tweet, I have not seen a case for anything being cooler than a perfect game. I think that is the number one spot of the coolest possible, most impressive thing you can do in a game. Pitch a perfect game.
Yes, dominance is you're doing absolutely nothing. No one's on base, didn't walk anybody, didn't hit anybody. You might have had some contact with the rod, but guess what? My defense got me. it's dominance by the pitcher, but you also know in perfect games that the defense has to show up and make some plays as well. So, yeah, no one on base, that has to be one of the greatest feelings in sports right there. Just complete and total domination. That has to be number one.
It has to be. Now, listen, a controversial one. I had walk-off grand slam. I had it as number 3. No-hitter was number 2. Just I kept with the pitching excellence there for the 1 and 2 spot. The case I was seeing for grand slam, a walk-off grand slam in a game, is A, it's a home run. Fireworks. I mean, look, dingers are always great. But also, does a walk-off grand slam to win Game 7 in a World Series, to take the World Series, obviously, is that the coolest possible thing you could do in baseball?
It's the second coolest to me.
I think that might be the coolest.
Well, hear me out.
Game 7?
Listen. Game 7, perfect game to win.
Okay.
Or Game 7, walk-off grand slam. And let's say you're down 3. Like, it's not even, you need this grand
if you're
slam.
down 3, then
Down
I think
3.
that might
Better than a
surpass.
perfect
Because
game in Game 7.
you can throw a perfect game and your team be dominating offensively and have 5 or 6 runs. You know you're going to win this game either way. With the walk-off grand salami, it's like, look, we need this, dog.
Let's say walk-off grand slam, 2 outs.
The thing about
Bottom
a
of the
walk-off grand slam is it combines the 2 best home runs into one super home run.
Yeah.
A walk-off home run is special on its own.
Sure.
A grand slam is special on its own.
Absolutely.
Now you've combined the 2.
It's a turducken.
It is. It's peanut butter and chocolate.
I haven't experienced my team doing that in the Game 7, but I've experienced it in the World Series.
Okay, we get it.
And
Yeah.
the hypeness that I felt in that moment was like in 2006 or 7 when Kobe hit the game winner at the elbow against
That
the
was your
Suns.
Freddie
I thought
Freeman?
that was it. I thought that was it. Or the game winner against Portland. But experiencing that, like when I was playing football, I used to get so amped up before the game, I was almost in tears. Like I was just like so amped up, ready to go.
Like Sean Moreno just dripping down your face.
No, but I wasn't that calm. I'm like walking around the locker room like breathing hard and stuff like, let's go. Watching Freddie do that, I'm running around my house. I could have punched a wall. Like I was so amped up that in that moment to see an athletic performance, someone come up so clutch is one of the most beautiful things in the world. So to do that in a Game 7 and you need it, and doing the hardest thing in sports to hit a baseball, that has to be it.
I feel like I'm slowly being convinced, which is wild because I've never seen a perfect game in person. And in my mind, there's nothing harder to do in baseball than pitch a perfect game.
It's tough, but you get help. The grand salami, that's you. Game 7, 2 outs, down 3. We need this.
Bottom of the ninth.
Bow. Come on, that's beautiful. Write a story, write a book.
So we've then decided walk-off grand slam, 2 outs, down 3, Game 7, World Series is the coolest possible thing you could do ever in baseball. How do we feel then about just ranking in general, inside the park home run, stealing home in a triple play? I've not seen any of these in person ever.
Me either.
The one time I saw a steal of home was when Julio did it against the Red Sox. And so I didn't even get to celebrate the steal of home.
Yeah, because it wasn't like a good memory.
Exactly.
For you.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a very cool thing to see. But it's like there's the tension of watching him lead off of third where you're like, oh, he could go. And then like the build up to the release of when it happens, that's a sneaky one that I don't think gets the respect.
I don't even know. Like people, that's the thing with the stealing home, triple play, inside the park home run. I didn't have them as number 1, but with all of them, it's you don't see it. You don't see it. Cal's had 2 grand slams this year. Like, I'm not saying that they happen all the time.
Does Randy have one this year? Randy has one, right?
I think Randy has one this year, but like, I don't remember the last time. I've never seen a triple play ever in person. I've seen like YouTube highlights. I don't remember the last time I saw an inside the park home run at all. Like, you just don't see these things.
You don't.
What's the hardest thing of those 3 to do?
Inside the park triple play, or what was the other one?
Triple play, steal home, inside the park home run.
I would say the hardest thing to do would probably be, it depends on the ballpark, because all ballparks are different, right?
Or are you going to say inside the park home run?
I was going to say inside the park home run, but then all ballparks are freaking different. What was it? Who's your guy who did it yesterday for Boston?
He could have did it standing up too.
Yeah.
Like he just got lucky. The ball bounced off the top of the wall back into the field of play, And so he just basically ran around and got stuck in the triangle.
We see inside the park home runs a few times a year, right? Ellie had a couple last year, I want to say. Brayu had one this year, but I feel like I can't remember the last time I saw a triple play. I'm sure it's happened, even happened this year, but I can't remember the last time I've seen a triple play.
Where do we put cycle, hitting for the cycle?
It's cool. Like, don't get me wrong, that's special, but
not Curtis about to say
it's
hitting
not.
for the cycle's overrated.
It's not overrated. It's just no one sets out to do that. That is not anybody's goal when they start a game. It is always completely random when that happens.
But how much of baseball is kind of random? Like, is it everyone's goal necessarily to like go into a game going, we're going to get a triple play?
No.
Or is it just like the perfect timing? Everyone's on the same page.
It's every pitcher's goal to throw a
crazy?
perfect game in a no-hitter, which I think makes those
Sure.
more special because it's like you knew that was the intent of the pitcher going into that game. Whereas a cycle, it's cool. Like when it happens, it's like, oh man, that was fun. But I don't think anybody remembers like where they were when like John Olerud hit for the cycle in Mariners history.
Whereas like I could remember obviously like Cal's walk-off home run. I can remember like a grand slam Mitch Garver had forever ago, or maybe it was like a 3-run bomb. I don't remember, ironically, as I'm saying. But like I remember leaving that game, everyone's excited, there were fireworks. Like walk-off home runs anytime, particularly with multiple runs, are just memories. Where do we put immaculate inning?
Immaculate inning. When was the last time that
cooler
happened?
than a perfect game, and I'm sorry, an immaculate inning is not cooler than a perfect game.
That's
That's
very
a
rare.
reliever texting in saying, let me tell you what's way more impressive than 9 perfect innings is just 1.
Aaron Goldsmith would put that at number 1. He loves immaculate innings.
Of course he does.
The last Mariners one, I believe, was Felix, and that happened a long time ago. 2008. It was against the Marlins. That was the last immaculate inning in Mariners team history.
Where do you put it?
Oh no, it's cool.
That's not doing it for you.
In fact, it's the only immaculate inning in Mariners team history.
So it's rare.
If immaculate
It's
innings
rare.
are that rare, why aren't they cooler? Or that's me. This is purely subjective.
I don't think a lot of fans know they're in the middle of an immaculate inning.
Bingo,
until
Ian.
It's
like the good old days.
Yeah.
You don't know when you're in it until it's gone.
No one has to wake you up and tell you you're in the middle of a walk-off grand slam. You know exactly what's happening. You're losing your mind.
2022, I remember this. The Astros pitched 2 immaculate innings against the Rangers in the same game.
It's disrespectful.
Really
it is.
Okay.
And it was the same 3 batters who struck out on 9 pitches.
Would you put an outfield assist on this list? Like the
Like a crazy
Ichiro's
throw?
laser throw out of Star Wars. Something like that.
Yes, but it would not be. It would be somewhere around that like tier of triple play, like great defensive plays. Someone else texted in and say robbing a home run. Like when they really like my friend Aaron tweeted at this as well. Like scaling the outfield wall and taking a home run from someone has to be up there too. I think
Depends on the
defensive plays
moment.
just come in a little bit later.
Depends on the moment, right? If you're taking away a potential grand slam to win the game in the bottom of the 9th World Series, yeah, then a rob would be nice. But it happens people get robbed all the time out there.
So what wins between the walk-off grand slam and the perfect game?
Walk-off grand slam to me.
Well, if you could pick it, okay, pretend it's not in a World Series. It's just a walk-off grand
All
slam.
right, if it's just a walk-off grand slam,
then
then
it's a perfect
game.
If you could choose one thing that you got to see in person, anyone sending in these other suggestions, I guarantee you 95% of people in person would want to see a perfect game.
I would want to see a perfect game on TV, not in person.
Really?
Yeah, because then you get to really see the movement of the pitches, how they're setting it up. When you're at the ballpark,
Yes.
your perspective
okay,
isn't the same.
A good argument. I would want to feel the tension that starts ratcheting up as each inning goes. You start getting into moments where you can see the infielders know. Everyone on the team realizes, and obviously no one's saying it, but you can see like maybe kind of like a sigh of relief with like, oh my God, I just got that out. Thank God. You know what I mean? The pitcher starts not realizing what's happening, but starts reacting a little more, punching his glove with every out.
Mm-hmm.
Just those little moments that you're seeing
like that
when
angle.
the camera can't train on someone and you're watching the team as a whole feel the nervousness and like the terror of losing this thing, and then the excitement with every out.
You got great eyes. I ain't seen that at the ballpark. I ain't seen that. Maybe that's why I want to watch it on TV, because I'm like, zoom in on his face. You know what I mean? Show me the pitches. Where's the velocity on the pitches and stuff. I like listening to the baseball analysts like really break it down. But yeah, I also like the human aspect of it, where you feel the emotion in the ballpark.
And I just feel like with a perfect game, while you don't have the moment of like, oh my God, we won, I didn't think we would, the building tension of it, it's like a scary movie. It's the building tension of it happening and being like, oh my God, the last out, will it happen?
This is really going to happen.
I'm sorry, I'm back to perfect game being number one. I can't take it out.
Yeah, perfect game's number one if we're not talking Grand Slam, Game 7, World Series. Yeah, for sure. Or on TV or in person, yeah.
Okay, what about if it was a perfect game going into, it's a 1-0 game, that player's cleanup hitter up to bat, and he's got a ton of home runs, and you're thinking this could tie it, and he strikes him out.
You're asking that over the Grand Slam?
Yes, swinging strike 3.
Oh, no,
and it's like
some things
like an Aaron Judge. We're in the ALCS, perfect game going. Strike 3, Aaron Judge swings.
I'm still going Grand Slam, because it's still harder to hit the ball than to strike a guy out. It's still harder to come through clutch in that moment. Full count.
Yeah.
You know, and just the mental gymnastics that goes on with a batter, right? Whether he's ahead in the count, behind in the count, what pitches does this guy throw, his weaknesses. Like, there is so much strategy that happens so quickly in those moments. And for a batter to be able to recognize a pitch, full count, and connect and hit a grand slam in that moment, I think is harder to do than for a pitcher who's already locked in, has the advantage because this is hard to hit baseball these days, and strike them out. Both incredible moments, though.
Okay, would you rather see that or collect $1.1 million from the Mets today and every July 1st through 2035? Happy Bobby Bonilla Day, you guys. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. He talked about hearing from more people today, July 1st, than he does on his actual birthday.
Well, I hear from a lot of people. It's probably bigger than my birthday. Everybody knows that day more than my birthday. You know, listen, we've been doing it for quite a long time now. I'm kind of used to it. It's a lot of fun to have it, but you know, it was done so long ago. You know, it's just
more than 30 years, and you got more than a decade to go.
Well, but don't be mad at me because of that, Buster.
Oh no.
It is what it is. It is what it is. It's just a great day. You know, I just have fun with it now. I mean, I'm glad I did put the money away. And you know, it's just a beautiful thing.
Not Robert talking about the 1.1 million he gets every July 1st. Like, it's like, oh, that old thing. Sometimes I forget about it. It's crazy.
He probably does. He looks at his bank account like, oh, it is July 1st, huh?
Oh, look at that deposit going in there. God. What a cool thing.
Good for him.
I know. The second phase of All-Star voting is now open, and Cal Raleigh needs your help to earn a starting spot on this year's Midsummer Classic. Vote for the Big Dumper at MLB.com/vote. Also, you can still cast your vote for Cal directly on the Seattle Sports app. Just click the Vote tab in the bottom right corner of the app to vote today. Let's get to the station for Hype Train. One of the spiciest topics we've had today. Had listeners 50-50 split arguing with each other and us. The Mariners should trade for Alex Bregman. Our first Hype Train.
Hey, we have a former coach talking about you build culture of a team, the organization. You don't hire guys like that because they cheat. That's Little League. I fired guys for sure when it comes to their integrity or whatnot. Yeah. But we're talking professional sports here, man. This isn't for the love of the game. This is to win ball games. And you know what? Everybody cheats. I've cheated every game I played. You know how? I've held, I've clipped, I've pulled people down to the ground. Everybody cheats. Okay, I've looked at signs and tried to steal them. Everybody cheats. Now they cheated on a different level. This is very intricate. They were doing a bit more. And I understand people being upset about it because they're in the AL West. You got to play them every year. They've won the division.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I feel like if they were in a different division, it'd be completely different. And we probably have more people who would be for getting Bregman. Me, man, come on. Let's go get him. I'm all about winning. As long as he ain't beating his wife, messing with kids, or just messing with the poor like Brett Favre, I'm good.
Right? Like, there are people that are doing horrendous things out there.
Yeah.
And look, I think the Astros are, like, I hate that franchise. And they should not get that World Series. You cheated. And yet, I don't find that to be the single most despicable thing you can do in baseball. It's just something I judge. Like, I judge them for that.
Unfortunately, folks, everybody cheats in professional sports at some point. And it might not be as egregious as that, but everybody cheats.
A bunch of people telling me Aaron Judge would never be up in that moment in a perfect game because obviously you'd be at your 9-hitter. Guys, let me spin this as much as I can to get bumped to say perfect. I'm just trying to set the table here. The Mariners should trade for Alex Bregman. Curtis.
Yeah, board that train. Absolutely.
Own it.
I can be convinced that Alex Bregman would be a positive force in this Mariners clubhouse. We'll let bygones be bygones and just say, you know what, 2017, that was 8 years ago. That was old news. Yeah, I would welcome him with open arms here in Seattle.
Ian, do you want to chime in on this one?
Yeah, no, they shouldn't.
Well, he's a
Red Sox fan, so we're moving on. Yes,
well.
I think why not? They should. I am curious about his health. Ian gave us an update that it sounds like he could be back sooner than, anyone worried like he's not going to play until September or whatever. So yeah, I'll board this train as well. Look, I don't like cheaters, and I don't want my team to cheat to win a World Series. That being said,
what if the Mariners did
like
cheat?
actively cheating?
What if the Mariners did cheat
and
to
win
win
a World
Series?
That's a great question for the audience, Bump. Why don't you ask people if the Mariners won a World Series and you were given for the first time in your life, not just the Mariners in a World Series, but winning it, it's your best memory. You find out they cheated, didn't get caught. What are you going to
You are
call
not
the
tripping.
commissioner up?
You are not tripping.
Are you calling the commissioner? Rob,
You're going to
it's
tell
me.
yourself?
Rob, look.
Hey, take our trophy back.
I heard the cans. I heard the garbage cans banging, and I have a report to make.
Oh, man.
Next up, the Mariners took Game 1 from the Royals. This is a 4-game series, right? Looking here with that
It
finale
is, yeah.
on the 3rd. I think a fireworks night. The Mariners will sweep the Royals.
Hard. 4 games. That's tough, man. That is tough. I believe they're avoiding their ace, though, the Royals. But, no, man, I don't. It's hard to win 4 in a row. They'll win 3, though. They'll win 3.
Oh, okay. That's very good.
Yeah.
The Mariners will sweep the Royals. Bump says no mop here, but I'll take a classic 3-game. 3 of 4 from the Royals here. Curtis, are you boarding?
I'm boarding. Let's do it. I think they sweep aside the Kansas City Royals. You've got Michael Lorenzen facing the Mariners tonight. He's got an ERA near 5 right now. Emerson Hancock is going to be opposing him. And if it wasn't for those 3 starts that Hancock got absolutely shelled in, he'd have a pretty nice ERA this year. But I think the Mariners win that one. You've got Logan Gilbert going Wednesday night. And then Thursday night, the series finale, Brian Wu's on the hill. I think the Mariners are shaping up for a nice homestand here, especially because of the importance of stacking wins right now, because you finish out the first half against the Yankees and Tigers. So I think they mop the Royals in all 4 games.
The Mariners will sweep the Royals. It's a mop. Curtis is boarding. Bump is not, though. He thinks they take 3. Ian.
I think I'm boarding. It's really hot in Seattle right now. The ball is flying. I want to see the offense keep stepping it up.
No, I think I'm with Bump on this one. This is a series that they should win, and I believe that they absolutely can. I'm just going to be an echo chamber when it comes to Bump's point, though, because I think it's true. It's so hard to take 4 in a row in general, going from one series to another, much less 4 from the same team. Next up, we've been talking a lot about the Steelers, who've made a ton of trades and signings and been in headlines. We were wondering who they had at quarterback. Finally, Aaron Rodgers gets there. They obviously traded prior to that for DK Metcalf, traded away Pickens, added Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey from Miami. The Steelers make the playoffs.
They better make the playoffs because, Tomlin, I feel like, is in a little warm seat. You know? Yeah, you have the new the Bronco Mini. What's that thing called? Your car.
My Bronco Sport.
Bronco
I love
Sport.
it. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Heated seats, right?
Where'd you get it from?
Heated steering wheel from Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Genuinely,
It's not a consignment.
It is really from Wayscar Ford in Auburn, and I really do love them, and I love the Bronco.
How do they save you so much money, though? Because they don't go to auctions.
Because they don't go to auctions. Exactly. Yes.
I've heard that commercial 1,000 times. I'm locked in. But no, I don't think they make the playoffs, man. I think they're going to be third in their division. This isn't going to be the NFC North where 3 teams get in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to be the case here. And Tom is going to have some explaining to do. But I still think DK goes for 1,000 yards, though.
Okay. The Steelers will make the playoffs. Bump not boarding this one, though. Sees a good season from DK. Curtis.
Yeah, I don't think they make the playoffs either. It's going to be a tough go of it in the AFC. I mean, Aaron Rodgers in the AFC right now is probably like the 8th or 9th best quarterback in the conference, which would put him kind of in the bottom half of that league. I just don't see it for Pittsburgh this year.
Ian.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is the 3rd best quarterback in that division. I think Joe Burrow is stronger right now than Aaron Rodgers is, and I mean, obviously Lamar Jackson is unstoppable. So I'm not boarding this train either. I think the Steelers are going to have a tough time.
Yeah, I don't know that I am. Last year's 2024 AFC playoff teams: Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Texans, Chargers, Steelers, Broncos. I don't see any of those teams falling out of it, especially the Texans in a much easier division. And I can see a lot of teams pushing against the Steelers to try to actually make the playoffs. So no, I think you're going to have a lot of the same in the AFC. The Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills, the Texans are going to be representing the South there. The Chargers I could see being in there. The Broncos are going to have a great defense. I just don't see other teams falling out except for the Steelers. So yeah, let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners are on tonight. They take on the Royals at T-Mobile Park. Pregame starts at 5:30 p.m. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. on Seattle Sports. We're going to preview this game and talk Mariners from 1 to 2 in the dugout. Taking a look around the NFL next.
And the 2-1 to Randy. Swinging a fly ball into deep center field.
Back home with a bang.
He does it again. Randy Arozarena with his 2nd home run in back-to-back at-bats.
Tonight, Game 2 against the Royals at T-Mobile. First pitch tonight at 6:40. Lyman and Bob take you to pregame at 5:30.
Holy smokes.
On the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports, and the Seattle Sports app.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With
24 monthly bill credits. New line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Payoff via virtual prepaid card allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfer is available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit Earnin.com for full details.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Cal Raleigh is in the final round of the All-Star ballot, and he needs your help to secure his spot as the starting catcher at this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. Vote totals have reset for this round, so Big Dumper needs every ballot as he goes head-to-head with Alejandro Kirk. You can vote once per day through this Wednesday, July 2nd at 9 a.m. Plus, with every ballot cast, you'll be entered for a chance to win the Mariners Vote Cal sweepstakes, including a meet and greet with Big Dumper himself. Cast your ballots now at mariners.com/vote.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, we've been heavy with baseball today, so a little bit of a break quickly. We will get to what I need to know at 12:45. Get your questions in, 866-979-3776. And then obviously all Mariners from 1 to 2. Shannon, Drayer getting things started with the dugout at 1. How much control should Aaron Rodgers have over the Steelers' offense in 2025? It's something I think a lot of people around baseball are wondering. I'm sure a lot of people in that building in Pittsburgh. Bill Coward says he should have full autonomy.
Would you give Rodgers maybe not total autonomy, but would it be similar to what you gave to Ben Roethlisberger? Like go out there and run it?
Absolutely. I don't think there's any question about it. And I think Aaron's at a point where he knows that, you want to be
throwing the ball 40 times a game. I don't think you at this point. You want Aaron Rodgers to be healthy going into the playoffs, and hopefully you get to the playoffs. And I think in the meantime, you created a balance on your football team and not just relying on his arm throughout the course of 4 quarters. Listen, you can turn the ball over to him at the end of a half, the end of a game, and know he's been there before, and I think that he will operate that very, very efficiently. Again, I think it's going to be a matter of getting comfortable within this system with the players he has around him.
Bump, I don't know that you could not give Aaron Rodgers control.
Yeah, he has to be in control of the offense.
Used to it.
Yeah, it's a privilege to have a quarterback who's capable of being in complete control of the offense. Now, if we're talking about roster moves and decisions being made upstairs, no, stay away from that. Let him be the quarterback. Let him control the offense. That's what he does best. Yeah, he's Aaron Rodgers, 20-year veteran, 42 years of age. If he knows the offense, the ins and the outs of it, let him do exactly that. If you want a quarterback who's capable of doing that, you prefer to not have a quarterback that you have to take all the way up until the play clock hits 15 and you're in his ear reminding him this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
Let him run that thing. You prepare for the next possible outcome when it comes to play calling, and let him and DK cook.
Speaking of the Steelers, who's got a hotter seat in 2025? Mike Tomlin of Pittsburgh, obviously, or Mike McDaniel, head coach of the Dolphins? First, Damian Woody on Mike McDaniel's hot seat.
I am putting Mike McDaniel on the hot seat alert. I think Mike McDaniel is a guy that we need to be watching very closely. The Miami Dolphins are in transition, in my opinion. I call the Miami Dolphins, they're what I call empty calories. They show you a lot of candy. They give you a lot of candy, a lot of things that look cool and stuff like that, but ultimately it doesn't mean anything. That's what the Miami Dolphins are.
I actually didn't mind that description of the Dolphins.
That was
where
perfect.
It's like they're really, really fast. They can do cool stuff. Mike McDaniel can be a great play caller, but they don't win enough to be really competitive, and they don't actually close out games. I liked it.
No, I like it. Their uniforms look like candy, too.
Yeah. Courtney Cronin makes the case for Mike Tomlin facing more pressure this year than any particular player on the roster.
The pressure's on him more than anybody else in Pittsburgh. I don't want to hear it. It can't be on TJ Watt. It can't be on Aaron Rodgers. It can't be on DK Metcalf, anybody else that's on the team. It's on the head coach who has gotten a pass for a lot of years. There have been scapegoats. There's been the rotating cast of quarterbacks since Ben Roethlisberger, the rotating cast of offensive coordinators. Mike Tomlin, time is going to be up soon if they can't win this year. And I think that it would not be if they don't win. I don't think that anybody would fault the Steelers and Tomlin for moving on from one another finally, because it would show you that what they were doing ran its course. And sometimes you need to have such an extravagant set of moves taking place to let you know that you did literally everything possible and that it's okay to start over. Because I don't feel like they were ever going to be comfortable starting over and moving on from Tomlin unless they truly threw everything in the kitchen sink at trying to make 2025 successful first.
Courtney sounds just like Katie Nolan. Who's under more pressure this year between Tomlin and McDaniel?
I'm taking the soft way out and saying they both are. If they don't make the playoffs, both these guys are not going to be coaches there anymore. Only thing about Tomlin is that he's on year, 16, 17 or something like that. So he's got his resume is a bit longer, and they've been a bit more patient with him because they've won a Super Bowl under Mike Tomlin. You've had Ben Roethlisberger. You've had some great teams, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Plaxico Burress. You've had names that are there. In Miami, on the other hand, they're like this new age team that got put together, and they're the greatest show on grass right now with all the speed and stuff, but you've gotten absolutely nothing from them. I think they both are. Neither makes the playoffs. Both of them are gone.
Good news. Great news, actually. Randy Moss will return to ESPN's Sunday NFL Countdown on a full-time basis for the 2025 season. As you guys know, Moss missed time the final 2 months of the 2024 year after undergoing cancer treatments.
Good for one of the GOATs out there, Randy Moss. And his analysis is fun. He's got that country accent when he's in there. Just that whole group.
Just likable.
The whole table is it's fun to listen to. My son told me one time, he goes, "Dad, how come you think you ever get to that level?" I go, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer. I go, you know what? CW, keep rocking with me. I'll rock with you.
The Cleveland Browns have announced plans to build a domed stadium in nearby Brook Park, Ohio. This would be the first domed stadium in the AFC North, which is crazy to me.
It's sacrilege.
Like, what? I know that we go for vibes sometimes, so you want the snow games and the cold, and you want to have your opponent visit you. Maybe they're a team from the South, and it's like, welcome. You're now in, cold territory.
How can you be a Rust Belt team in a dome? Like, you're Cleveland, Ohio. You're known for bad weather.
I'm saying the opposite.
Oh?
Like, how do you not have a dome? Just to make sure that you can also have the best playing conditions.
I mean, sure, that's common sense,
right.
but we're going off of old school snot bubbles out the nose.
Three of you are the same. I'm over here going, but it's so cold.
There are a few places where a dome would be ridiculous. Buffalo, that's why they're building their new stadium, and it's going to be open. The seats will be covered a little bit. Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Chicago, Detroit. I mean, Detroit's always been indoors, but you feel like they should be outdoors. Green Bay. Philly, you cannot go to a dome. And this is football. I mean, you don't cancel games because of weather. You play.
You don't, but I think the Bills should have a dome stadium.
Now,
they've had whole games rescheduled.
We all know why Cleveland wants a dome.
Oh, yeah, another thing I should say here.
They want a Super
Is this all about Cleveland trying to host a future Super Bowl?
Yes, absolutely this is. Those Super Bowl revenues are nice. And that's unfortunately why we'll probably never see one here in Seattle, because the weather in February is just too unpredictable.
What if Seattle turned Lumen into a dome?
Don't do it.
That was the whole point of creating Lumen, is that you moved out of a dome. They didn't want to be in a dome anymore.
Last story here. We got to it a little bit earlier, but let's revisit. Darren Waller coming out of retirement. The Giants are trading him to Miami for a conditional 2025 sixth-round pick. Great news for maybe the new album and also his career.
He took his time to heal, and he's back in this thing.
Take time to heal.
I think he was the best option when it comes to these free agent tight ends. I mean, you got Gerald Everett, Mercedes Lewis, Jordan Atkins, Nick Van Ed, and 7 or 8 other guys. His body is healthy. I'm sure he's in decent shape, and he can get even better shape. When he was at his prime, man, 2 1,100-yard seasons, a Pro Bowl. I think he's got 800, 900 yards left in him.
All right, get your questions in for what I need to know. I'm trying to open up the text line right now. 866-979-3776. We're all Mariners from 1 to 2, so get your questions in now. 866-979-3776.
And a 2-1 to Randy. Swinging a fly ball into deep center field.
Back home with a bang.
He does it again. Randy Arozarena with his second home run in back-to-back at-bats.
Tonight, Game 2 against the Royals at T-Mobile. First pitch tonight at 6:40. Lyman and Bob take you to pregame at 5:30.
Holy smokes.
On the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports, and the Seattle Sports app.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health. It's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
It's our biggest event of the summer, the Butts Golf Sidewalk Sale. Thousands of items on sale on the best brands in the game and an unthinkable savings. Don't be left out. It all starts Thursday for 4 days only at Butts.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours. The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
Dayandnight.net.
The old throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
Dayandnight.net.
Slow drains, backed up toilet, is your main drain or sewer clogged? Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Over the past 70 years, I think we've seen every drain clog out there. If your pipes aren't draining from a small fix to a major repair, our sewer and camera inspection will show exactly where the problem is. I promise you, our experienced technicians will find the issue, the right solution, and do it at a fair price. Give us a call or visit
Dayandnight.net.
I guarantee whether Day and Night is your first choice or your smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
If you have a drain that's slow or clogged, call Day and Night. Now you'll save $50 off any drain cleaning. Slow or clogged drains? You know where to go.
Dayandnight.net.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rurucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with 0 investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We're going all Mariners from 1 to 2 for the dugout. We're going to start by being joined by Mariners insider Shannon Drayer. Before we get to that, though, it's what I need to know. So get your questions in. Any question. It doesn't matter what it is. I like when people ask for advice, personally. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Hey, Bump, I'm sure you knew, but I have to ask, should my Blazers try to bring back Dame?
Blazers. Here's the thing. Yeah, of course they should, right? That's his home. That's where he started his career. Spent all but, 1 or 2 seasons there. The thing is, what do you really expect the Blazers to do? They don't have a squad. The West is so tough right now. And if I'm Dame, I'm chasing a ring at this point in my career. and the Blazers just aren't going to do it. Should the Blazers try to? Yeah, for sure. You should try to. But if I'm Dame, I'm trying to set myself up for a ring. So come join me in L.A., Dame.
866-979-3776. Do you think if Aaron Judge was an outfielder for the Mariners and Cal was catching for the Yankees, Judge would still be number one in the AL MVP talk, or would it be Cal?
No, it'd be Cal.
It'd be Cal.
It'd be Cal all day.
Yeah. I'm not saying that what Aaron Judge is doing isn't statistically, like if you were to take his name off, wildly impressive. By almost any metric, he's just blowing people out of the water. However, let's not act like those pinstripes don't help.
It does.
The baseball world, the sports world, and in particular the baseball world, concentrates so much time, effort, and energy on covering the Yankees. It's egregious. Anything the Yankees do is going to be news.
Is it egregious?
It is and it
I
isn't.
wouldn't call it egregious.
I would say, not considering that they are a huge spender, third biggest metropolitan area. I get all of those things. I just think that it is like 60%. It feels like the bulk of your coverage is one team.
That's just how it is. That's how the world works, right? You turn on anything in NFL, who's the first team you're going to hear about all the time? Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
You turn on basketball, you're going to hear about the Lakers. And now OKC is going to be in the mix too. It's just there's fan bases out there that control this. It's marketing,
yes.
and they know that if the more you have Yankees on television,
True.
the better your ratings are going to be.
I would liken it more to if maybe like the Bills got a ton of the coverage. Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009. Chiefs have been to what, 3 of the last
all right,
4
well,
Super Bowls?
let's go Dallas then.
They aren't as bad as Dallas.
Yeah, it's just I get it.
Yeah.
It's not fair to everyone else, but it's all about the fan base. They
I
got
know.
a huge fan base.
But to answer the question, yes. And while what Cal's doing is absolutely insane, he's about to match his home run total from last year. I don't think as many people would have not been talking about Cal at all.
Mhm.
That's what I think would have changed. I
Yeah.
think he would have entered the season with at least some hype around being a home run hitting catcher who'd been averaging 30 or
Yeah.
more bombs for 2 seasons.
Yeah, he wouldn't have to work as hard
Exactly.
for the notoriety.
You
for
wouldn't have
sure.
so many people that are like, Big Dumper, can you believe this nickname? I've
Mhm.
never heard of it in my life. Okay. 866-979-3776. Which game in Squid Games would you be able to play?
Have you seen the last one? Most recent Squid
Yes.
Game? I can play all of them, but I can play all of them. I'm surviving.
I'll say which one would you be least, what one would you go into going, they might get me in this one?
Well, the one where it's all like chance, like when you're jumping over the bridge
glass
and the
thing.
glass.
Yeah, that one for sure, because it's just luck of the draw.
Uh-huh.
You've basically just drawn whether or not
Yeah.
you're going to live.
Yeah.
The other one is,
Red light, green light, I'll be fine.
I'd be cool with red light, green light. The cookie one makes me nervous.
Cookie one, yeah. If you have the umbrella, you gotta be patient with that one.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new one?
Mm-hmm.
So the jumping rope over the bridge, I'd handle that.
The tug of war, maybe, if you have the right people on your squad.
Hmm. And the battleship one is chance too. Oh no, that was on the actual like reality TV show Squid Games. My bad.
Oh my God,
Mixing
the
them
one
up.
where they're in the room and you all have to get like 3 people in a room, 4 people in a room,
Yeah.
2 people. Like if you're just partnered up with one person, I don't know. God, this show gives me anxiety.
hide and seek one. That would be tough because you want to be hiding or you want to be seeking.
Yeah.
Tough.
Okay, 866-979-3776. Bump driving home yesterday. You were listening to your own show. How weird was that?
It's weird, especially when Stacy says
Okay.
my name and I'm not even on
I
the
don't know why
show.
you
It's
have
like,
to
right, Bob? And I immediately texted the group. I'm like, Stacy, already messing up. That's Curtis. It's not Bump.
I didn't ask for this. I'm just supportive. If
Bump and I have a lot of physical similarities.
Yeah, I get you guys
Clearly.
confused a lot.
People think we're brothers. Don't
It's
they?
true.
What I need to know, if Blitz and the Mariners Moose fought each other, who would win?
Now listen, I know Blitz personally, like the guy who's inside.
What do you
of
mean?
Blitz? Like I know him.
That's a real bird.
That's a real bird.
Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah.
There are kids listening.
What are you
So
talking about?
I know Blitz. And Blitz is one of the most athletic people, low key, that you're gonna meet.
Oh, I think it's Blitz.
So I'm taking Blitz for sure.
I think that you also have to think about like moose are giant creatures. But you've got like the aerodynamic speed of being Blitz. Not only like, can Blitz maybe land a punch or two, but like talons. Like I might just take a large hawk in a fight with a moose, as long as the moose couldn't stomp it.
Ian,
why are you shaking your
head?
head?
Have you seen how big a moose
They're
is?
giant, but if I'm talking about accuracy, if you're talking about
A hawk ain't even attempting to mess with a moose.
Listen, if you're talking about could a
Yeah,
fighter jet
not even
take on a
close.
giant ship, or could, you know what, if you've got aerodynamic
No.
speed and precision attacking, you could blind the moose.
No, a hawk has no chance against a moose.
Yes, you could.
A hawk
could
is looking
blind
at
the
that
moose.
thing and saying, "Have a good day." sir."
Hawks have
good.
little tiny Edward Scissorhand hands. They've got feet with knives on them. That's what hawks
And I
are
think
working
moose can get up to some pretty high speeds if they're
What are they
big
not
get
doing?
moving.
Have you seen a moose? They're
The
not
Marimoose
racing
has
each
a mean
other.
streak.
You
Remember,
need
he
to-
ran over Coco Crisp on an ATV.
As long as the
He'll hurt
bird,
somebody.
as long as the bird stays in the air, I'm not
Stacey,
tripping.
There are a couple things that you should defer to us to.
A moose can run. A
Anything
moose
to
can
do
reach
with animals.
speeds. A moose can reach speeds of up to 35 miles an hour.
Oh man,
That's fast.
How fast could a hawk plunge? Like look up
Oh,
like
yeah.
hawk.
Oh,
look
it's
up-
going- it's
that's what I'm
going
saying. How
fast.
fast can a hawk dive? Ian, can you Google this? It's very important. I want to know how fast a hawk can dive. And think about it. They're carrying little.
Up to 120 miles an hour.
Oh. Uh-oh.
That thing's not
35
even-
miles per hour? Maybe he could run away.
That
no.
thing is not even bothering that moose.
He's attacking from the sky.
He can attack and the moose will be like, "What is that thing poking at me?" And the hawk ain't even gonna try. He's going after little fox and stuff and coyotes
Okay,
and
but
rabbits.
But Blitz could win in a fight.
Yeah, let's win the fight.
Okay.
We're talking mascots, not actual animals.
Exactly. But I think actual animals, maybe the hawk has more of an upper hand than you guys are willing to give him credit for.
There's no upper hand.
866-979-3776. What's something completely useless you still refuse to throw away, and why does it have such a chokehold on your soul?
Useless that I refuse to throw away. Probably t-shirts.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm not gonna wear this shirt, but I got it when I was in college or something, and I just don't want to let it go.
Oh, this only halfway answers it. It doesn't have like a chokehold on my soul, but like the user guide to anything I ever purchase. So if I get a sound bar that I don't even have in my household anymore, I still have like the user guide
Still keeping
somewhere
it?
for it. Yeah, just things where I'm like, oh, this bench that I assembled has all these extra screws. I better hang on to them.
Well,
just in case.
that's actually pretty good though. You
'Cause
hang
you
on to
never
those.
know.
You hang on to those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've made a lot of good points today.
Yes, you have.
One of your banner shows, Stacy.
Shannon Drayer joins us next.
And the 2-1 to Randy. Swinging a fly ball into deep center field.
Back home with a bang.
He does it again. Randy Arozarena with his second home run in back-to-back at-bats.
Tonight, Game 2 against the Royals at T-Mobile. First pitch tonight at 6:40. Lyman and Bob take you to pregame at 5:30.
Holy smokes.
On the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports, and the Seattle Sports app.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even bad hair day?
Yep.
And tree branch fell on my car day?
Especially that day. Progressive has you covered 24/7 for your home and auto.
How about thought it was chicken, but it was tuna day? Or overnight construction outside my bedroom day?
Those days too.
Great, because that was each day this week.
Been there. Well, at least your home and auto are covered every day with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Do you have a car you'd like to sell but don't want to go through all the hassle? With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are uncomfortable selling their own car. So how do you get the most money for your used car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car and pay you right up front for it, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most from my friends and colleagues is, what's the catch? And how can they offer this. It's super simple. All the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auctions, like purchase fees, shipping, and travel expenses, is what allows them to offer this. They'd rather share that money they save with you than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as their competitors and then share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you sell your car anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers, and it's only at Wayscar Ford. That's wayscarford.com, Wayscar Ford in Auburn.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
This week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to my friend Brock Heward. Brock, why did you call First Mark?
Brandy, it is so good to talk to you. It's been too long, and we made that call. And the only bummer is we waited too long. I know you hear from people that you talk to as well as I do to take the First Mark Insurance Challenge. I just wish we would have done it earlier. You know, Brandy, the word that comes to my mind is a word I use on my sports show a lot, and that is connective tissue. It's important in team building. It's important to players in a locker room to be connected to others. And when it comes to insurance, it's so complicated, it's stressful, and you just don't even want to deal with it. And that's where the connective tissue of having a pro, having a broker, having a partner, and most of all, having a teammate like First Mark Insurance was the best connective tissue we could find.
Brock did it. My family did it. You got to do it. It's free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and we've been talking about this. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience because the hotel opens up August 8th. Bookings are open at snocasino.com starting on August 8th. The expanded non-gaming floor, the destination spa, the big new entertainment space and convention center, new restaurants as well. They're combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com for details. Seattle's closest, now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Hold up a sec. If I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfer is available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners beat the Royals in that series opener yesterday. Randy Arozarena hit 2 bombs, the first being number 100 in his career. Cal Raleigh hit his 33rd home run of the season, third most ever by any player through the month of June. Game 2 is tonight, 6:40 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This is The Dugout, every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy. Inside access to the clubhouse from Shannon Drayer on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
It is the Dugout. Mariners insider Shannon Drayer joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. 3 bombs yesterday. I want to talk about the originator of 2 of them, though. Before we get to Cal, a lot to talk about with his season. Randy Arozarena in the clutch with 2. Shannon, his first being his 100th of his career. The other day we were talking about, hey, if guys are going to pitch around Cal or if they're going to intentionally walk Cal, who's going to bring the power? Is Randy a pretty good candidate for that role?
I think he is, but he has to display the consistency with it. He's got it. We all know that. We've all seen that. And what I think was really interesting about his post-game comments is it almost sounded like he'd been thinking about number 100 far too much, and perhaps that had something to do with the little bit of a drought that we saw from him with the power. So I'm really kind of interested to see where he goes now that that is behind him. Of course, he followed it up with another, so maybe there was something to that. But you've got to see the consistency with him. I know that he is a hitter that pitchers are going to think a little bit about because they know it's there regardless. But I think the more consistency that he has, the more that's going to help. Obviously, Julio is the other one, and you just hope you see second half Julio sometime soon. And not knocking what he has done. What he has done defensively has been fantastic on the bases, great for average. He's hitting for average right now. You just need that little bit of extra from him if you are going to be talking about protection. We've already seen Cal walked a couple of times with him behind, so we'll see.
Shannon, when the season started, of course, we're talking about the ballpark, the hitter's eye, the atmosphere, and all that good stuff. It's starting to warm up. Is that something they talk about within the clubhouse? Like, look, weather's getting good. Let's just start squaring the ball up and playing some ball.
That's a good question. I would imagine, that's not a conversation that I've necessarily heard in the clubhouse, but they do like to inspire confidence in each other, and that is probably a good place to start. That one of the things that we know is that it is a terrible place to play for a hitter in the spring, and they kind of overcame that this year. They showed that they can hit in the park, and that was something that was absolutely fantastic to see. But as the season goes on, everybody, you get a little bit more tired. You're into the season. Early on in the season, it's no more real if it's good than it is if it's bad. You really have to get into the season. Everybody has to get up and running, and then there are those dog days. Well, in Seattle, Cal talks about this all the time. They don't really have dog days. It almost goes in the opposite direction, starting with all of a sudden the weather is playing in your favor, both with how the ball flies at T-Mobile Park and in the temperatures. You don't get run down in Seattle. You're not going to have day after day after day of the heat and humidity that you might have back in the Midwest, or you could have back east as well. I think they've gotten smart in other places and put the roofs on the buildings and the air conditioning in there. But I do think that, while I haven't heard it, I think everybody kind of feels that a little bit.
I've been really impressed with the bullpen. This is especially stemming from that series against the Rangers where each one of those games went into extras, and you saw great performances from so many of these guys. It extended into yesterday with Spire with a near immaculate inning. Shannon, a bit of a twofold question. What have you seen from this group that's maybe impressed you or caught you off guard? And what could they stand to add, or could they, to that group at the deadline?
Well, you can always add to the bullpen at the deadline. And I've been saying that since the start of the offseason. Add leverage and add middle if you can as well to that bullpen. We've seen some pretty big ups and downs with them throughout the season, and so I think that's why you absolutely need to have some insurance down there. But you've also had some great surprises and guys that made the team as probably pretty much the 25th and 26th man on the roster really come through from them. Carlos Vargas has done good things for them throughout. He's had his ups and downs, but early on, huge, certainly well beyond what they had last year from him. They weren't able to bring him up because he was walking too many batters. He's got great stuff, and he's, I think, still learning. You have to remember that a player, like him has only been in the big leagues for 3 months. So I think that's big. And I also think that he's given some versatility in that he can pitch 1 inning, 2 innings, 3 innings, and they've needed that at times. Bizzardo, I think, is the most recent story, and I've really liked what he's done all year. And I think that the more that he gets the ball, and he is a guy who wants the ball. He aggressively wants the ball. You can tell when you see him get out on the hill. He loves to be out there. I think he wants to put on a little bit of a show. And now we are starting to see the value that he has. And I was talking with Pete Woodworth the other day, and he talked about what Trent Blank called a second inning Bizzardo. His velocity goes up as he pitches, and we certainly saw that in Texas. And, you kind of wonder, you look at that, and is there more in there, not velocity-wise, but can you put it all together and have the consistency to be even further towards the back of the bullpen someday? We'll see. But it's a really intriguing arm that has really made a lot of adjustments over the last couple of years. And if you look at his numbers, his sinker-slider combo, it's almost unhittable right now. And it's just been just fantastic seeing what he's been able to do and contribute along those lines. Andres Munoz and Matt Brash can't do it all on their own. And I'm also really optimistic in getting Colin Snyder back. He did really good things in the second half last year, and we didn't see it this year. And I think there were a lot of nagging things that were going on with him almost from the get-go. And then when the forearm strain presented himself, that's when you go from, okay, I'm playing sore versus, okay, I'm playing, and I don't know that he was. I think he probably was taken out as soon as the forearm got involved. But that's the difference between soreness and, okay, you really have a bit of an injury here. You need to go on the IL. I think the downtime is going to help everything with him, and I'm really, really optimistic that when he comes back, he's going to give you another one of those options in those middle innings.
Shannon, Canzone is an interesting player to me. He comes out, he performs well at times. He's bounced back and forth between here and Tacoma. What's his status on this team, and how important is he to this run?
That's one where, and I wrote a tiny bit about it. It was a number that just jumped out at me because we think we know Dom Canzone. We know he's got crazy power. He has displayed that from the day he got here. But you also saw a lot of strikeout from him. Well, we haven't seen that since he's come back. He has shown the tremendous power, and the strikeout erased, and it's a smallish sample size. We're talking 55 to 60 plate appearances. But, if this is a trend, it's a good thing. He had the lowest strikeout rate on the team in the month of June. Now, Cal Raleigh had twice as many at-bats. He had 55 versus 100, 120 that your regulars had. But I think that is something to keep an eye on, and that is something that is encouraging. And if you can take that and also have him get more comfortable with, say, a pinch hitting appearance, that could be a real big plus for this team moving forward. So I think it's too early to say what it is. We know he was tearing it up in Tacoma. We know he made some significant changes, and he's had success out of the gates at the big league level, and they made the decision because we've seen him brought up and sent right back down when that spot was needed. The decision was made, no, we want to see more of this, and so far he's rewarded them for that.
One of the most important things for the Mariners, or an ideal situation for the Mariners in the second half, would be Logan Gilbert kind of looking like an ace. And Shannon, I wanted to go back to his last start where the slider was working. I know he got, touched up just a little bit on a couple pitches there. But otherwise, like a solid day. But I couldn't help but notice from the broadcast them talking about the fastball velocity being down. Is that something concerning? Is Logan working his way up to 100%? Is he always going to be at 80 for the season? I mean, what can we expect for Logan this year? Are you optimistic that he can take steps forward?
I've talked to Pete Woodworth about the velocity, and it's not a concern. He said that it's kind of the ups and downs that a pitcher will have, particularly early on, and he's come off, and now he's continuing to build up after being out for a significant amount of time. Logan is Logan, and if he is healthy, we should see the Logan that we are familiar with. Doesn't mean you're going to see it right away. So along those lines, I have to be optimistic about what I am going to see. And I do know that sometimes the StatCast readings have been a little befuddled by what he's been doing. I do think that he has been throwing the splitter more than it initially looks like. Usually they'll fix that the next day. And so that's a good sign. If anything was bothering him, he wouldn't be throwing that pitch. He is. I do think we're seeing improvement with the slider, as you pointed out, and I do think that the fastball will follow. I think that is something that perhaps you are seeing just as a residual result of the time that he has missed. And, maybe that warmer weather at T-Mobile Park is going to help that as well. It's worth keeping an eye on, but I know they're not concerned with that right now.
Shannon, you got obviously the Royals here, and then followed up by the Pirates. How important is this stretch? It feels like, you're trying to catch the Astros. I think they have the Rockies coming up. You don't expect them to drop too many there, but how important is this homestand?
Feels like the Astros are always playing the Rockies these days. It's a huge homestand because these are opportunity games and you need to get them. Being six back, that's a pretty significant number. You're not the Guardians 11.5 behind the Tigers, but you're also not the Rays 1.5 behind the Yankees right now. You want to take a bite out of that. And where you are in the point of the season, it's going to be more than picking up a game a month. You got to do more than that. So it is significant. You do have games remaining against them, but I think you're in the territory right now where you're going to need one of those super hot streaks, much like the Astros had. And one, particularly at the starting pitching, gets closer to where it's been. June was a very rough month for the starting pitching, and I don't expect a repeat of that. But as they get closer to where you expect them to be, I think that's going to give you the ability to go on those runs because they're going to go out there every night. You're going to have a good idea of what they are going to give you, and that's going to be an opportunity to win each night. They just haven't been there every night because of the injuries, because guys coming back and not quite being themselves, because of getting adjustment from younger players into the rotation. I think there's a good chance that they get there. I think that will help those streaks, but you obviously can't get six games back in a night. It's going to be a process to get there, and I do think it's too soon to be talking about, well, it looks like they're looking at the wild card, because things can happen on the other side too. Things can happen with the Astros, but the Mariners have showed that they can play a better offense than we have seen from them in recent years. I think the bullpen, as Stacy mentioned, is starting to round into better shape. And then lastly, you just have to have some faith that that rotation can be what that rotation, or close to what that rotation has been before. And if that's the case, then they can do some things.
And have some faith in the Rockies, I've always said. She's Mariners insider Shannon. Drayer kind enough to join us for the dugout. Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.
You got it, guys.
This is the dugout. All Mariners 1-2. More Mariners talk coming your way next.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I was taking my side hustle full time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs, Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
You're listening to The Dugout every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Angie Mentink joining us at 1:30. Alex Mayer hopping on at 1:45. This is The Dugout, all Mariners 1-2, and we're continuing with some under-the-radar Mariners. Look, all love to Cal Raleigh. What he's doing is great. Let's take a Cal break, though, and start talking about some of the other Mariners here who are contributing and absolutely deserve some love. This is a twofold conversation. One, Bump, you were looking back at the last several games, noticing a couple things about Canzone or Mastroboni or Solano. What were you seeing?
I'm seeing that in the last 3 wins, you are getting some production. Go back 7 days, so you include this one game into this series, and then the Twins and the Rangers as well. Obviously, you got Randy having his big day the other day, 4 RBIs, the most since April 9th against Houston, where he had 5. But in the last 7 days, man, it's been Solano leading with some RBIs. You got Mitch having his big game. And then you have Cole Young, who leads the team in hits the last 7 days with 26 at-bats. So you're seeing these guys at the bottom of the order contribute to the project, which is always nice. You're going to need Cal to continue to have the year that he's having if you want to have a chance in this thing, especially if you don't plan on adding a big bat. We don't know what else is out there when it comes to the bat. So, Cal, you keep doing your thing. JP, keep getting on base. But you need the guys at the bottom to figure some things out. And it seems like like I said, the last 7 days, last 3 series, they've done exactly that. So that's encouraging because you're looking at what the Astros are doing, barely getting by some games. They beat the Cubs the other day, 2-0, something like that, a bunch of one-run wins when it comes to the Astros. And they find ways. They grind these games out. And that's something that we're used to seeing the Mariners doing the last couple of years, grind these close ones out. But you hope and you feel that the tougher it is for the Astros, the more likely they are to go on a 3 or 4 game skid and kind of open up the window for you or the door, and you just walk right in that thing if you take care of business with the Royals. So seeing some names like Mastroboni and Canzone hits for power contribute in these wins, I think that is huge.
Yeah, I think that not only do you want those guys to keep contributing, but that's kind of the recipe for so many teams. Like, Bump, you're a Dodgers fan or grew up a Dodgers fan. There are people listening that are fans of some other teams, and any one of you could probably think of a player on your favorite version of that team, maybe a World Series winning version or a great playoff team where there was a guy that just didn't get enough credit. Like, it's a very important part of the ingredient. You're not going to have cleanup hitters in every spot. Somewhere you got a random second baseman or a platoon guy that was just just great. Maybe it was a lot of stolen bags. Maybe he carried a great average, great on base, had some key moments in games, whatever it was. You still need that guy. In fact, Jeff Passan last week on with Brock and Salk talked about it.
If a team is going to be successful, it needs the Donovan Solanos of the world to go on a heater for a couple of weeks. That's how you win games. When you're, it's amazing to see what Cal Raleigh's doing right now, and he's on a home run hitting jag and would carry any team in baseball at this point. That's how good he's been. But you need to have a Donovan Solano game. You need to have a Rowdy Tellez game. You need to have a Luke Raley game. You need to have a Ben Williamson game, maybe even a Miles Mastroboni game. Like, you just need those secondary guys, your non-stars, to go out there and win games every so often. And it makes the contract that those players sign worth it.
It is not a perfect comparison, but Jeremy Pena has the best average on the Houston Astros. You have, obviously Altuve, who had a 2-run bomb for them the other day. And we're already familiar with a lot of these names. So when I say them, you're not going to think of someone like Solano by any means. But you've got like the rookie, Cam Smith, who's 3rd in average and really contributing. You've got your center fielder, Jake Myers, both really important players that you guys already know their names, but this isn't a team where, like, Yordan Alvarez is doing much of anything. He's hurt. He's not even there.
Right.
So sometimes you have to get to the guy that isn't going to be the headliner, that isn't going to command all the attention, that's going to end up helping you. It's not a perfect comparison for someone like Donovan Solano. For instance, like Cam Smith was a highly touted rookie, part of a massive trade, and Donovan Solano is a much older veteran coming here. But still, what I'm saying is it's not always going to have to be Cal.
Yeah, but and honestly, at this point of the season, or just in general, I think it's fair to expect better at-bats from Solano than Cam Smith just because Solano's been in the game for so long. I know we're not expecting Solano to have, obviously, the ceiling of Cam Smith. He's got a long way to go, but it's okay to expect Solano to be the guy that the Mariners wanted him to be. And so far in June, he was exactly that. We'll see if it continues over to July. You need everyone to contribute, but my thing, too, is now I'm going to be picky, right? Beggars can't be choosers, but I'm choosing right now. I don't want everyone to have their day on the same day. I don't want Solano, Garver, Mastrobuoni, Young to all go crazy and then disappear for a little bit. Just be consistent, man. Get on base. And that's the thing that's hurting this squad as well, is that you'll have a guy like Cole Young go, 3 for 4 the other day. Didn't drive in any runs. Didn't score any runs, right? So it's almost like Woody was saying when it comes to the Miami Dolphins, like wasted calories. Like, yeah, I like to see it. It's good for this young man to feel that success, to get on base and all that good stuff. But it's like the point of the game is to score runs. So if he is getting on base, let's drive him in. And he's getting on base at the bottom of the order. So what that is telling us is that he's getting on base at the bottom of the order, and JP, J-Rod, and Cal haven't been able to drive him in, though Cal did have 2 RBIs the other day off of a home run. So, it's connecting the dots. And how do you connect the dots, the bottom of the order and the top? Just have to get guys on base, drive them in. Easy game, Stacy.
Yeah.
Easy game.
Well, and think of some of the most frustrating versions of the Mariners you've seen. For instance, a really frustrating version of the Mariners that we've all seen is one wherein maybe a leadoff, let's say JP gets on base, or Julio hits a single, or Cal hits a single. Someone gets on base, and you've got like this black hole in the lineup where like maybe 5 through 9 or 6, 7, 8. Or 7, 8, 9, just nothing, automatic outs. And you knew right away the second each of those batters came up, you were like, they're so cold right now. They're not doing anything. Maybe they'll draw a walk, maybe, but like they've just got too many gaps, like huge gaps in this lineup. And we would talk about them needing to add contact and all this stuff. It feels good to have a lineup where now Solano goes up and you think, well, maybe.
Got a chance.
He's got a pretty good chance. I mean, Young goes up and you go, well, he's got 2 hits today. We'll see what happens. Like it's nice to have those breaks where you really could do some damage, particularly when you have some guys like Julio who's hitting mostly singles. He's not knocking in those runs right now. So, or JP where you're like, I'm counting on him to get on base, not to drive in all the runs.
Yeah, when Solano used to be up with 2 outs, I used to go start making my sandwich. I used to leave me like, all right, I can still hear it.
Yeah,
but I'm not paying attention to it. Now it's like, all right, let's see Donnie Barrels, let's see what you got going. So that is encouraging. The tough part about this whole situation when it comes to a guy like Solano and even a Garver, right? Garver has a great day the other day, then he goes 0 for this day. Did get on base though, so that's a plus. Is that there hasn't been enough done to where you completely trust Solano and Garver and even a Mastrobuoni. But if we weren't at least seeing those flashes, then I would be in an even darker place when it comes to the bottom of this order. So it's good that they're giving us a little something to believe in, and that's encouraging. Now it's just taking care of the Royals, man. You got to win at least 3 of these games because, like a texter just pointed out, you're going to see Mr. Skeens on 4th of July.
Question, does the return of Rayleigh, who's looked just fine, I know he had an off day, still trying to kind of get back to 100%, but the return of Rayleigh, Solano playing really well, even though we heard Adam Jude report that this team's looking at corner outfielders, does it feel inevitable they're looking at a third baseman? Like, does it feel inevitable that will be where they need to add? You don't want to now take at-bats away from Solano or Rayleigh.
I think it's a necessity that you look at the corners. I think Rayleigh has done enough. Rayleigh is such just a versatile type of player, right? Where you want? You want me first? Okay, cool. You want me right, left? Okay, I got you. But when it comes to consistency, and that's why they still have to look because you're not getting the consistency from those positions. You're getting flashes, but you're not getting consistency. forget what you believe about Julio. He's been, for the most part, consistent in the outfield defensively and swinging the bat, just not slugging like we pointed out several times already today. Yeah, you got to look at the corner. Solano's doing enough to where if you need him to play, I think he can get her done. But that third base spot, which is tough, too, because Williamson defensively has been really good over there. He's been really good, but he hasn't been consistent swinging the bat. It's no one on the corners is good enough for you to sit back and say, I'm willing to deal with anything that comes your way. The trials, the failures, the successes, I'm good. No one on the corner gives you that feeling of, I'm able to put up with whatever you bring today.
Mariners broadcaster Angie Mentink joining us next.
And the 2-1 to Randy, swinging a fly ball into deep center field.
Back home with a bang.
He does it again. Randy Arozarena with his second home run in back-to-back at-bats.
Tonight, Game 2 against the Royals at T-Mobile. First pitch tonight at 6:40. Lyman and Bob take you to pregame at 5:30.
Holy smokes.
On the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports, and the Seattle Sports app.
Tyrese live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Sunday, July 13th, 8 p.m. You've seen him on the screen. You've heard him on the radio. Now see him live for an unforgettable night. Get tickets before they sell out at MuckleshootCasino.com. Tyrese, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Wait, if I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain. Dayandnight.net. You got a pipe with a leak, water's reaching its peak. Dayandnight.net. Your old water heater, she's starting to peter. Dayandnight.net. The throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell? Dayandnight.net.
Have a clogged drain, water heater issue, or plumbing repair, and wish you could get a second opinion? Maybe it's sticker shock, or you'd like to know your options. Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Don't feel trapped. Do the smart thing and get a second opinion. Day and Night will provide you with a fair and honest quote, explain all your options, and help you with the right solution. Give us a call or visit dayandnight.net. I guarantee you, whether Day and Night is your first choice or smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
Dayandnight.net.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at Lowe's.com/lowest price guarantee.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
You're listening to The Dugout every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Talking Mariners 1-2. Alex Mayer is going to join us in 15 minutes, and he's always got some really fascinating stats. Curious as to what he's got on Cal. I'm sure something else insane, given that 33rd home run. Randy Arozarena just hitting his 100th home run in Game 1 of this series, 2 yesterday for him. Right now, though, being joined by Mariners broadcaster Angie Mentink. Hey, Angie, how's it going?
I'm good. Do I have both of you? Sorry, I'm just getting on late.
You do, and yes, and we're very excited to have you.
She said yes.
Yes. We're very excited to have you, and I feel like my first question for everyone is always about Cal, but it's hard not to ask about him, right? Like, we've had national reporters on today. We've talked with folks from The Athletic and what have you, and it's just hard not to immediately, especially when we have Mariners broadcasters on, be like, so what's it like over there at T-Mobile? I mean, when you talk to Cal and talk to the guys on the team, is it still just business as usual? Is anyone talking about how he's setting records here?
Oh, no. Everybody, it's come to the point where, players are joking about it, but it's not far off from the truth. It's like they just expect him to hit a home run every at-bat. But for me, what's just like so impressive is, you look at his stats, and he's hitting for average right now as well. They are really trying to be careful, and different teams are trying different things. They're trying to go up and in, low and in, and then they're trying to go away, and they're just finding out, like, there's just not a lot of holes in Cal Raleigh's swing right now. But it has really been fascinating to watch, like, other teams kind of ask and be like, hey, so, like, how would you pitch him? Or what do you think? I'm just like, everybody's trying to figure out how to get Cal out, and nobody's having a whole lot of success.
You walk him. That's what we're going to start seeing even more of,
I know,
right?
4 fingers. 4 fingers. Just put them on.
Just put them on. I want to talk about Julio, Angie, 'cause I love listening to the way you describe just the approach in the box and what the hitter's trying to do. And with Julio, his launch angle is down to 8. Last year was about 10.5, and he's still getting on, right? We're not seeing the slugging that we're used to seeing out of him. Is there anything specific in his swing that you're seeing, or is it just bad luck? Like, walk me through it.
I think that for Julio, it like that last little thing needs to fall into place. I mean, we know how strong he is, how talented he is, and that is really what is sort of, keeping his numbers so far afloat. He hits the ball so hard. So even if he does hit it on the ground, he's fine in base hits. Obviously, we would like to, and we're talking about launch angle and everything else, we would like to see him catch that ball out in front a little bit more. But I really kind of, I'm not get frustrated, and I'm not frustrated with you. Could never be frustrated with you, Bump. But, the difference in the hundredths of thousandths of a second, in the difference between that 108 mile an hour pitch leaving the yard versus leaving the infield is just so tiny right now. The difference between a pop fly, a line drive, and a ground ball is literally a quarter of an inch on the bat. You draw the thickness of a Sharpie, and that is it. So, with where he is right now, I think there's some things like he could be a little bit more quiet, with his swing, because that's what I feel like we've seen with Randy Arozarena. He's gotten less violent, but as far as like last year when we looked at Julio and everything just fell into place at the end, and we kind of, said it was like the Edgar Martinez whisper in his ear, was that he was really loose. And, I talk about this sometimes on the broadcast, like make a fist, squeeze it as tight as you can and try to move it back and forth. Okay. Doesn't move very fast. Open it, be relaxed, and now wave it back and forth. That's the bat path that he has to have, but it's just really hard. And it's a really small difference between being loosey-goosey, and you see some players like lose their bats, right? Because they're so loose, and not like tightening up, because when he tightens up, he's just a tick slow.
I'm going to be boring and get back to Cal, but when we were talking about approach with Julio, I thought of another question. I know that part of the answer about why Cal and how Cal is doing what he's doing is like, I don't know. But you get to watch every single at-bat and are able to talk to this team and talk to Cal, so might as well take advantage of that and ask about maybe specific things that you see in terms of, is there just better pitch recognition? Is there patience? Like, is there something beyond just, he's got a torpedo bat and a lot of power that you think like, this might be clicking for him?
Two things, and I'll try to keep my rambling train of thought on the tracks. One of them is I do think, and I haven't brought this up in the broadcast, but I truly do believe that catchers have a little bit of an advantage because they see so many pitches. Like you have to understand, like the pitch recognition of like out of the hand, realizing where a curveball is, where it's going to end up, right? Because you've got to catch it. And, Cal's so good at knowing where that ball is going to be, particularly with his gloves, so to be able to like time it up so he's catching it and lifting it to the center of the strike zone. So one, it is helpful that he is a catcher. I really do think that. A lot of times throughout history, catchers haven't been able to reap the benefits of seeing so many pitches and pitch recognition because their bodies are just shredded from the position of catching. Knee-down catching has kind of helped that in the wear and tear. There's different wear and tear. Now they're taking foul balls off their thighs and things. Two, and this is something that Sicer has talked to me about, he said this was really early on in the season that Edgar wanted to do this drill with Cal where he sets up like a super high tee, and by doing that, Cal had to, like, you can't get onto your front foot to be able to make contact with that tee. If you could imagine that, I don't want to say lean back because that's the last thing you want to do, as a hitter is to lean back. But if you can imagine that you really have got to clear your hands and catch that ball more out in front with this like super high ball on a tee. And Sicer wasn't even sure, I don't know if that's something that's going to help him. And then he just went like, are you kidding me? Look at the difference it made in his swing, because sometimes Cal would, when he'd stride, he'd get out on that front foot. That weight would go where now he's back a little bit. And again, when I say back, I just mean like balanced. And so he's able to catch that ball a little bit more out in front. And with his strength, making contact out in front, that ball's just really going this year.
And how much of an effect do you attribute to the torpedo bat? I read an article that said that across the league, it hasn't really changed many numbers, right, when you look at it as a whole. But we're trying to figure out what it is with Cal. You just described a drill that he was doing that might have helped. Obviously, him seeing pitches as a catcher is going to help him there. Does he even talk about the bat anymore, or is that something of the past?
Well, I mean, I don't want to say it's something of the past, but I talked earlier about, the difference between, that line drive, that ground ball, and, that fly ball all being a quarter of an inch. Well, now if all of a sudden your barrel's a little bit bigger, there is just a little bit more, room for error, if you will, when you go to make contact with the baseball. Now, the torpedo bat comes with, some would say, the downside depending on your swing. And, that is like somebody like Luke Raley or even like Julio that hits a lot of baseballs off the end of their bat. The torpedo bat the torpedo sounds so cool, but really what they should have called it was a bowling pin. The bowling pin isn't sexy. Nobody wants to call it a bowling pin. It's a bowling pin. You've seen it, right? Yeah. It looks like a bowling pin. And so because the barrel shrinks towards the end of the bat, where normally a bat, it gets bigger at the end of the barrel. Guys that have that length in their swing, trying to cover the outside, drive the ball the other way, a torpedo bat isn't a good idea, right? Cal does not try to hit the ball the other way. At no point does Cal try to hit the ball the other way. Part of that is because, of course, he's a switch hitter, So if he's facing a right-handed pitcher, all the soft stuff is coming into him. If he's facing a left-handed pitcher, he's on the right side, all the soft stuff coming into his pull side as well. So, for Cal, I think the torpedo bat helps. It also is, it really marries and matches up with his swing as well.
These are cool answers. It sounds like a perfect storm of things that led to a really cool season rather than like one specific trick. It's like, oh, you have a very unique hitter who then worked on this. Also, he's got this new tool, which works for him because he changed this about his swing. Just lots of cool stuff. I do want to, in the final minute and a half or so that we have you, Angie, talk about some other bats in this lineup. Particularly, we've been talking a lot about Solano, Young kind of making waves. If you had to choose someone that you think, I think he's really going to emerge and be a really important piece of this in the second half, who are you looking to?
I'd go back to Julio. I mean, I think that he's so critical, and it's not just, and I know that seems like low-hanging fruit, but for all the reasons that we talked about, is that he hasn't quite, had the slug that we know that Julio can have. And we are really getting greedy because you think about like Julio and what he's done through, his young career. He's actually ahead in his power numbers of where he was at this point last year and through the first half of the season. And we're still wanting more. But that's because, we see how talented he is. But, yeah, I would like to start seeing, Julio hit a few more gaps. And obviously we know, when he hits it in the gaps, he can run like a deer. Randy, I think, is in a really good spot right now. But I think that a guy like Randy, to me, is somebody who is going to be a little bit streaky, when he makes that adjustment. Right now, he's a lot more still. How do you swing violently but not be violent? And right now, he's a lot more still, and you're seeing, the impact that has had. The other part of that, you asked me for one, and I'm giving you like 17. I do think it's really important that the bottom of the order continues to contribute in ways. They're not going to be carrying you, but if they can just find ways on base and then turn things over to the top of the order, I think that's critical.
She's Mariners broadcaster Angie Mentink, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, Angie.
Thanks, Angie.
You got it. So good to talk to you guys. And Bump, don't tell everybody how bad it was in golf last time you played, okay?
No, you hit some bombs. What you talking about? You hit some bombs.
Yeah, exactly. I always say it. My ability to hit the ball to all fields in golf is just not appreciated. Sometimes I do hit it to center, but a lot of people are really upset with that double into the gap or that triple down the right field line. But
5-2 golf.
That's why it's a scramble. We got each other's back. We good.
Exactly.
Thanks,
all right,
Angie.
Thanks, Angie.
Bye, guys.
Hit it to all fields.
And when she connects though, that thing jumps off the club. Mm-hmm.
All right, Alex Mayer joining us next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The one, the only Tim Kirkchin is with us. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm just as confused as you are about the Mariners, if they're going to get really good or not.
Is it hard to understand where their needs truly are as we approach that trade deadline?
This team is due for a great stretch of great starting pitching. If they can score a few runs, maybe they can really make a playoff berth in the American League.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
The Golfapalooza of the summer, the Butts Golf Sidewalk Sale. Titleist, FootJoy, TaylorMade, Callaway, the biggest names at 50 to 70% off. It's your time to save, and it all starts Thursday at Butts.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. we can help.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
It's the Got to Go used car sales event at West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, June 27th through July 6th. Choose from over 350 used vehicles in stock and ready to move. West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hey, everybody, it's Bob Stelton here. Let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I went to K2 Vision for refractive lens exchange. Now, I'm somebody who struggled with up-close vision. I couldn't read restaurant menus. I couldn't read receipts. I couldn't read the text on my phone. I had this crazy large font on there. I put the readers away. I went to K2 Vision, and I'm actually reading some of what I'm saying to you right now. I couldn't do that before. It's amazing. So if you're like me, you struggle with distance vision, or you always need a pair of glasses, K2 Vision RLE is quick. It's absolutely painless, and I am seeing great without glasses or readers. RLE is a game changer. I'm excited to spend my good active years not needing reading glasses. K2 Vision RLE gave me great vision that, more importantly, is permanent. The doctors at K2 Vision have performed over 150,000 lens procedures, so they know when RLE is right for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
You're listening to The Dugout every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Alex Mayer joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. I'm sure, Alex, you have some very interesting numbers on Cal Raleigh, who's putting up some crazy numbers of his own. We've also got some all-star game conversations to get to. We'll start, though, with Cal. Tell us about some home run milestones he can reach here.
Well, I feel like every home run Cal hits, like I guess for the last month or so, has been milestone-oriented. I mean, doesn't it seem like that? Right? So he's got 33 home runs, hit number 33 last night in the win over the Royals. With his next home run, it'll be 34, which will tie his career high already. He hit 34, which are far and away the most by a Mariners catcher in franchise history. 34 are also tied for the most by a Cal in baseball history, with Cal Ripken Jr. topping out at 34. So pretty cool stuff there with the Cal home run stuff. And then his next home run, 35, seemingly he'll get that before the All-Star break. That will tie Ken Griffey Jr. for most home runs by a Mariners player before the All-Star break. And it would also tie Mike Piazza for most home runs by a catcher through their first 5 seasons. Obviously, with number 36, it would pass Piazza. So it just seems like every home run from here on out for Cal, milestone, milestone, milestone.
Man, it's unfair because I expect a bomb every time now, and I'm disappointed when he doesn't get
like,
one.
What do you even do? A sack fly?
Like,
wow, Cal.
A double? What are you doing, Cal?
It feels that way.
It does feel that way. All-Star, obviously, voting is coming up, and we've settled on, obviously, Cal hopefully being the starting catcher for this thing. What are the chances you think Munoz gets in or someone else?
Yeah, so like you said, Bump, or should I call you Curtis? I listened yesterday.
Wow, Alex.
I'm sorry, Stacy. Hey, at least you're in the group chat. At least you're in the group chat, Stacy.
All right.
I'm just throwing it back. But yeah, I think Munoz has got it. He keeps asking me every single day if he's made it, and I tell him I'm like, Mooney, I don't know yet. So he asked me every single day on the road trip and yesterday. So that's pretty funny. But, yeah, I mean, his 1.16 ERA and 18 saves, I feel like there's enough said there. He's pitching some of the highest leverage spots among all pitchers. And obviously when you're a late inning reliever, you're going to pitch high leverage. But I feel like he's pitched super mega high leverage with all the extra innings he's thrown. So I've got Cal and Mooney in for sure. And then after that, I think it gets interesting. I think Brian Wu certainly makes a case. He'll get a couple more outings before the break, but American League starters are just so deep this year. You have guys like Crochet, obviously Skubal, who will probably start for the American League, I would imagine. Some other guys just have had career years, so it might be difficult for Brian, but I'm hopeful he could get in as a third. Julio Rodriguez, hasn't maybe played up to his potential in terms of 2023 when he went 30-30, but Julio's sneaky been a top 5-6 outfielder in the AL this season by my estimation. And a fun one I wanted to throw into the discussion was Matt Brash, because he's just been nailed since he was activated off the injured list and literally hasn't given up a run as of me talking to you guys, and it's, July 1st. So I think the Mariners could be anywhere from 2 to 5, just depending on how things shake out. Obviously, like all-star leagues in every league, it seems to be like every year there's more and more reserves that get named to the team. So we'll see how it goes.
Getting back to one of the earlier names you mentioned with Brian Wu, what's impressed you most about his season this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's almost been exactly like George Kirby in terms of the, pinpoint control, the unbelievable command, outlier good command, really. Brian Wu's streak of 2 or fewer walks has extended to 30-something starts now, which is longest in the major leagues. And George Kirby had that streak until his was snapped a few starts ago. So I think what you're seeing with Brian, with Logan Gilbert, with most of our pitchers is the amazing command, and they stand out among their peers. It's just that good.
Hey, what's impressed you the most about Cole Young?
Yeah, Cole with his first 3-hit game last night, that was really awesome to see. I think Cole's just a really cool customer up there. Like, he doesn't seem to get too phased. It'd be easy to get phased. He's only 21 years old. He turns 22 later this month, which is absurd to me, born in 2003. I think the power is going to come. You saw him, lace that double over the left fielder's head in Texas. I think a few of those are going to find their way over the fence. I don't know if he's a 40 home run guy, but he's definitely a guy who's going to bring more pop just as he gets more comfortable in the big leagues.
I had a question in my head that was forming. And then I heard the born in 2003, and it just drifted away,
sorry.
which is fitting in my old age. It's like I just immediately forgot about this question. It just drifted out. I was hoping we could tap into whether you have the numbers ready or just from your own observations and gut feelings. Maybe
Sure.
One of the more interesting things about the Mariners offense this year, it was something we focused on so much in the offseason. And one interesting thing, for instance, that I found is they have more runs per game and more total runs than Houston, and yet Houston somehow 6.5 games on them right now. But it feels like within a team that can be frustrating for a lot of people are some things on offense to like if only they could find a way to tap into it more consistently.
Yeah, I think early in the season we saw Jorge Polanco, like the hottest hitter in the American League. Like, he was a borderline, winner for April Player of the Month. We've seen Cal Raleigh do it throughout. I think he's the one who's been, amazing from opening day up until this point. But you've seen J.P. Crawford with the on base percentage hovering around 400. You've seen the young guys, Cole Young and Ben Williamson, get it together. Randy with the 2 home run game yesterday. I think once you see these guys kind of put it all together at the same or similar times, then I think this Mariners offense could be scary.
Julio Rodriguez is
yes, sir.
I'm waiting. I'm just waiting for him. I'm waiting for him just to spark, right? And there are things that I'm seeing that makes me believe that he's close. What do you see that makes you believe that he's close?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's hitting the ball really hard. I think like a lot of Mariner fans and people in the building, elevating the ball is probably what is going to get Julio to hit for more extra bases. I think, he's been really good. He's been so valuable defensively that he's still been one of, if not the best center fielder in the big leagues. I'd say him and Buxton in the American League are the best, but he's brought so much value despite maybe not OPSing like 900 or something like that. So I think Julio's really close, and I think, I guess more line drives and fly balls.
He is Alex Mayer, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you guys so much.
I always try to think of cool requests to give Alex for stat things. It's just something Curtis is better at. I was going to ask Alex, so how do the Mariners do against blue teams? And then I was like, no,
that's
not
a
cool
good
enough,
one.
not cool enough. But here's the thing. I think that more teams in baseball, do you think there are more blue than red?
I feel like there's more red.
Alex, if you're still Alex,
No,
if you can still
gone.
hear me, Alex, blue teams. The blue teams is what we're looking at. I think there just might be. I was just thinking the Rangers had their
That's
blues.
blue and red, though.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe
I believe
you do,
blue
the primary.
and red are the most common
Yes.
combo colors.
But would you count the Rangers as? I would count Rangers as primary as blue.
I would say,
red
yeah, they're
and
more
red.
blue. They're definitely more
So
blue.
with primary color being blue, what's the record like? That's what I'm curious about.
Got some
'cause,
homework.
Look, you've got a chance
Well,
to
hey,
really make up some ground.
they're
here
1-0 against the Royals.
That's what I'm talking
right.
about. All right, this has been the Dugout. Wyman and Bob coming up next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Talking about the Mariners plan for the trade deadline.
You think people are reticent to the minor leagues and trade some prospects?
I know fans develop a connection to names they hear over and over. Often you don't see these guys. I don't know how many people are making trips out to Everett or out to Tacoma to watch the young guys, but there just aren't any sure things.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan from Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. We've been fortunate to work with over 4,000 local people and help them hit some pretty amazing weight loss goals. I'm joined by two of them right now, Mike Salk and Ryan Rowland-Smith. Ryan, every time I see you on TV, I'm even more proud of all you've accomplished on the plan.
I'm so happy. For years, I've been trying to find a consistent plan that delivered results with my busy family and work schedule. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic not only delivered, but it was an absolute breeze. It was so enjoyable because the plan wasn't hard. I was able to eat delicious food, and I literally lost weight every single day.
Eastside Weight Loss Clinic works so well for me. I'm happy to hear more people are using it to lose weight and prioritize their health as well. It's an awesome plan. Schedule a free 15-minute consultation today. Go to Eastside Weight